More heart per square foot.
रहो बेफिक्र, दिल खोल कर, घर के हर स्क्वायर फुट पर।
More heart per square foot.
स्क्वायर फुट, एक्सपीरियंस फ्लॉज।
Humans are social beings. We create buildings and cities, places where individuals come together and build communities. These are places to connect, stay, and love. Places to care for the generations that came before us while welcoming the next. Places to let our children grow and learn. To experience amazing moments or to step into new adventures. We are where our communities come together from places across town or across the world. Places that matter most to all of us. We provide safety, security, and sustainability to these places for people to move seamlessly and shape their lives. This is what our societies require. This is what...
Requesting everyone in the lobby and at the back of the hall to once again please come forward and take your seats. We'll start off with the segments. We've run quite late. Apparently, a lot of people have been calling and saying we've been stuck in traffic just about the IKEA Mindspace junction. So we'll let them populate in, but we'll just start off. So requesting everyone to please settle in, all our partners, the sponsors, requesting you all to please come in and take your seats. Now, before we start off with the segment and with the conference, I would just like to request our partners and our sponsors at the back with the stalls to please keep silence at the back of the hall, because there are a lot of times the panel discussions are going on and there's a lot of noise that comes from the back. I understand networking is important, I understand discussions are important, but I request you all to please respect the people on stage and keep the silence. We will take it from there on during the dinner. We have our cocktails, we have a lot of time. So please, you can either move out of the hall and take your discussions there in case it's imperative, but inside the hall, I'm requesting all our partners to please help us keep the silence during our panel discussions and the speakers on stage. All right, to start off with this evening, my name is Rashmi. I am the editor with Commercial Design magazine, and I know you all have heard a lot about this platform. You all have got calls, you all have seen your emailers, and a lot of WhatsApp forwards, everything that has come forth. Just to give you a quick brief, this was literally something that was started about, I think, 7 years ago, and as the name suggests, it was Smart Office Summit. It was supposed to just talk about the tech that is coming into the workplace segment and how that is transforming workspaces. But eventually, and that was mainly just architects at that point, but eventually when we kept evolving with this platform, we realized it's not just the architects, and now this platform brings together all the stakeholders involved in a building's life cycle. So starting from your developers, your PMCs who are executing, your architects and designers who are designing the space, to also your facility managers and administrations, heads who are operating and managing the space, keeping the entire building through its life cycle. So it is all of these individuals brought together on the same platform. Today, in fact, we have a lot of academia and also the HR rep here in this under this roof with us to also go beyond this infrastructure. They will probably help us understand the people aspect of the workspace infrastructure. So without much further ado, I'm going to call on stage Mr. Rahul Sikrora, who is the Managing Director with ITP Media Group India, to deliver the opening address for this evening. Rahul, please, ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Rahul here.
So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get some energy, please. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. Excellent. So it's truly an honor to welcome you all to the 32nd edition of the Smart Office Summit. 32 editions are phenomenal, and it's great to be doing this in Hyderabad. It's been 10 years since I've visited Hyderabad, and it has drastically changed for the good, of course. So it's a city where we've seen immense commercial spaces improvements, and what we look at from the overall point of view where industry is coming in, this is truly the epitome of what we will see in the future. So when we look at our industry is really changing, right? So when we look at what people create, we're not just creating buildings, we're basically looking at creating experiences where people are looking at wellness as a segment. People are looking at multi workplace resources as a segment. People are looking at creating ESG compliances, which are truly world standard. So when we always look at creating forums like this for ITP Media and for commercial design, we always look at innovation as well as how well we can position this conversation and position this collaboration across our partners and across our speakers. So without any further ado, I will let our esteemed speakers take this ahead. Thank you so much.
Just to add to what Rahul spoke about, what we do here, what we're trying to do here at ITP Media with these initiatives and these platforms, there is one such other platform that I'd quickly like to introduce, which is called the Commercial Design Awards. Now, similar to this particular platform, Commercial Design Awards is something which brings together nominations from across all the verticals of workplace infrastructure and design. And the best thing is the jury of this particular awards is something that we are so immensely proud of, which keeps it so transparent, be it from the technical aspect or the aesthetics and the, the interviews or the questions that they've put forth. I think the next edition will be in October. In Bangalore, and we've opened up the nominations to invite all the, nominations to come in for submission, actually. And we have categories like the Best Project Manager, Best Facility Head, Best Workspace Design, Best Sustainable Project of the Year, Best cost-effective project of the year. So this is all something that goes in. You also have the MEP consultants and the green consultants, the technical aspects of the building, everything put under this roof. And there's just one winner each particular category. And I'd just like to give you a quick glimpse into how the awards went last year. If I could just have the AV. That is just a glimpse of the last edition. In fact, I wanted to even add the glimpses of how the jury is conducted. We would love to share that with you probably over mail soon. But requesting everyone here, or like if you all can also share the news, you all can submit your nominations for this. We would love to take it up. Now, to take this evening ahead and not waste much time, I'm going to quickly call on stage Mr. Satish Kumar, who is the manager for sales at Dormakaba, to deliver his welcome address. Now, along with the welcome address, Dormakaba also has few gifts that we have right here with us to give out. Based on the questions of his presentation. So do keep your eyes glued, and a huge round of applause for Mr. Satish here.
Good evening, everyone. So hope all are doing well. So myself, Satish Kumar Murkuri. So I take care of corporates and IT vertical in Dormakaba. And thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk about the Dormakaba products and solutions. So comes to the Dormakaba, just I will give you the small brief onto this. Dormakaba having the experience of 160 years in the industry, and also we have a 130 years of 130 countries having the operations and sales subsidiary units in globally, and also we have so 16,000 employees working globally, so all over world. And also, most important thing is Dormakaba owned and deserved the 1800 patents with Dormakaba. So there is a lot of investment and efforts put into that. So comes forward, and also Dormakaba India. So presenting in India more than 30 plus years, and also one of the greatest thing is we have having the India's first lab, so accredited by NABL for hardware testing. So established in Chennai, Mahindra World City, and also it is Dormakaba India headquarters in Chennai. So for all the SAARC countries like Bhutan, Nepal, Bangladesh, and Maldives and Sri Lanka, so having the office in Chennai. So come forward, Dormakaba will support you and team expertise. So starts from the architectural specifications to till the services, all the 360-degree, and we will support you the customers. So comes to the product segments. Dormakaba having this different segments of the products. It starts with the door controls. There are multiple line of products will be available with us, and also interior glass systems, also entrance systems, electronic access and data, and lodging solutions, mechanical key systems, safe locks and services, and key systems. I'll go through the next slides on details on the products. Yeah, and also we aware of that present market, this access industry is growing rapidly. So we have seen earlier this majority of the projects that people are going with this mechanical locks. Now it is converted into shifted into the electromechanical locks. And we see a majority of the locks are residential and the digital locks and other areas also. It goes with the mobile biometric and authentications to be mandatory for nowadays living. And comes to the main entrance areas, we have a very good product lines. We have access related products. It comes to the interior areas. We have a half-height swing flap barriers. So these are, if you see, these are the different models we have given to the customers based on the architects and end customer interest. And that customizations, we made it. It is apart from our regular product line. We made it as a design intent as per the customer interest. We made it. So these are the different products, and if you see a lot of the products areas, there are multiple integration can be possible. So with this access control, and we can give you the palm readers, we can give you the lift integration, display units, and everything we can integrate it into the barriers. So comes to this per perimeter areas, we have also having the great range. So full height turnstiles, we have dual lane and single lane. We will have turnstile barriers also available with us, and also we have boom barrier systems also with us. It starts from the 2-meter barrier area to up to 6-meter length of the boom barrier also we can provide. And this is the one of the sleekest swing flap barrier we introduced in the market. It is one of the sleekest product in the entire industry. So I can go through the video, and we can discuss on the more on the technical parameters also. This is a simply
Argus V60 offers the smallest footprint of any optical turnstile in the market today. Argus V60 offers a footprint less than 10 inches, providing the ability to fit into the tightest of spaces, integrating into your access control system and ensuring tailgate detection. Available in a variety of color options, V60 offers the same architectural design elements as the rest of our Argus line. The ergonomically positioned scan plate and status lights have been installed on the front of the turnstiles for better visibility and ease of use. Current optical turnstiles in the market detect passage using horizontal and/or vertical sensors that capture an array of roughly 15 to 30 points. This can create blind spots within the sensor array that lead to false alarm triggers or unrecognized tailgating attempts. Argus V60 offers a more effective solution. Using vertically positioned sensors, the V60 generates a more complete sensor capture, while Dormakaba's SenseLib analyzes the shapes of the array to differentiate between multiple people or objects within the lane. Pairing the more detailed sensor information captured by the V60 with SenseLib is what allows the V60 to effectively differentiate between a true tailgating attempt, a person carrying a large bag, or two people walking closely together.
Yeah, this Argus V60, actually usually we have seen in the market a maximum length of the swing flap barrier is the 1600 mm length. We can accommodate 300 mm, whereas nowadays we've seen how the spaces are very premium. So, and also kind of this, we can't able to get the proper spaces into the properly in the reception area and other areas. Those areas we can accommodate this kind of the products with minimal space occupying capacity. And this is ideally it is integrated with the algorithm sensors So it is covered with the entire safety line of the areas. And also we have another range of the products called as the entrance areas, where we have introduced this revolving doors, and everybody we have seen revolving doors. So for the canopies of 400, 500 mm of the canopies we can see. But you can see the sleek system of Dormakaba introduced is a 100 mm canopy system we have introduced. And most of our people knows that the drive and pulley mechanism kind of the thing, the motor and pulley kind of the mechanism, we know in the still date. But whereas Dormakaba introduced, it's a magno-leviation technology, whereas we introduced, it is used in the kind of robotics and other areas, and usually majorly it is used in bullet trains. The same technology we are adapting here. So whereas regular system, it is tested for the 10 lakh cycles. So this magno-leviation technology is tested for the 20 lakh cycles. And also aesthetically, it gives more attraction to the entrances. And also we have different ranges of the pull height also, and we can give you up to internal 2000 internal diameter, so up to 4500 internal diameter we can give based on the customer requirements. Also, these are the different line of these sliding door systems. Whereas we have a regular sliding door system, we have a breakout sliding door system. Whereas I'll tell you some of the examples for industries areas. For entrances, people are having the minimum space of 2 meter or 3 meter of regular door openings. In case of panic in the war times, you can able to break out the fixed panel also. You can create the space of total entire space you can utilize, and you can use this 6,000 mm clear passage width. So that is the ideal products offering to the Dormakaba. And also Dormakaba having so minimum 80 kg load capacity to up to 1000 kg load capacity. You never find out in the industry the 1000 kg load capacity of the automatic sliding doors. And also, one of the good point it is, everybody we have seen in the market, so all the architects, they feel it, they create the grand entrance from the entrances. So they look for the 4 meter, 4.5 meter height. They can't able to get the products, but Dormakaba will offer you AL400 series and AL500 series. It can be, we can give you up to 4 meter height of the products also. Yeah, these are some of the products from the sliding door and telescopic sliding door, and we can propose swing door operators. We can give you sliding and folding operators. We can give you curved sliding door systems, and we can give you revolving door systems. Comes to this KT Flex, just we discussed just now, this is a 100 mm canopy with a 60 mm drive. We internally call it as a pizza. So we all know big pizza for 60 mm thickness of the drive unit, where we call it. So you can see that how seamless it is and how elegant in the entrances. It is. And also, Dormakaba having the range of this electrified hardware, we all know that all the data centers nowadays, everywhere it is going to use for the different ranges of the locks. So comes to this motorized locks and anti-panic locks, and comes to the EM door locks and the electromagnetic locks and the electric strikes. All ranges of the electrified hardware we will able to give you with the combination of the, and supports the as per the EN standard and as per the ANSI standards we can able to give. And it's called as Cobalt lock. So it is very high security lock. It is having the very high durability, and it is also tested for the fire testing, and also industry loaded monitoring system also it is having that, and also we can use as a fail safe and fail secure mode also for this lock. Yeah. Yeah, that's I'm completed. So these are the integrated access solutions where we have provided to the market. So access controls, master key systems, door closers, and architectural hardwares. I'll go through the next line of this. These are the, we offer the access range of the access readers and control systems for the market. If you see, there's some different ranges of the access card readers we can provide you as based on the customer requirements. So whereas we can provide you this digital cylinders, whereas you have the look for the modernization of any project, you can remove one existing lock cylinder and you can install the digital cylinder. It can be, your door can be this access control door. So no need to put and change the any cable, wiring, anything, because it is only for the, it is operated with the battery only. So these are the, like, we have used become a SCM integration softwares also. It works with the principle of the meeting, compatible with the SAP and other areas. And one of, and most important thing is Dormakaba also provide the master key system, whereas we know generally for 5-pin cylinders in the master key systems, whereas Dormakaba will give you 22-pin cylinder is a high security cylinder, and it's high security cylinders we have the patent till 2030. So having the Dormakaba patent rights. So till date, we have arranged, there is a different ranges of the thing, and we can give you the master key system for all your projects like doors, cupboards, drawers, furniture, elevator keys, padlocks, everything. So if you have some 2,000 doors, I can give you the single master key to operate all the doors. And nowadays, we are very minimal to discuss on the door hardware, but when it comes to the door closer, everybody nowadays people are looks for this door closer is a nominal thing for us. So okay, you can use any of the door closer, but the NBC standards and as per the ADA complaints, nowadays people want to look for the minimum door closer. The pressure should be below 22.5 Newton force. So we are missing that bus. I think majority of the project, so people, nowadays people are moving with the ADA complaints. If you see the TS60, TS72 door closer, it is ADA complaint door closer. So, and also we have provided the floor springs, it is the maximum, yeah, it's a 1 minute, yes. Yeah. And floor springs, we can provide you 300 kgs, maximum 300 kgs loading capacity. If you see in the market, it is maximum of 120, 150 kgs. You can't find out any 300 kgs floor spring in the market. And these are the regular ranges of the hardwares, as you are aware of that. And we have the detailed certifications of the EPD, UL certificate, BHMA certification, all the certificate Dormakaba will provide. And most important thing is MBA building barrier solutions, PWD kits. Nowadays, we have seen in each and every building, it is a mandatory. So for this system, so we can provide you swing door and as well as sliding door systems also. And also we can provide you with the Braille system. We can give you the options. Yeah, and also demountable partitions, the modular partition, we have EPD certificate and HPD certificates, and we can give you the durability and other area certificates also available as with us. And also comes with the sliding folding partitions, we have a horizontal and vertical partition. Horizontal partitions, we can provide you the maximum height of the dB level of in vertical sliding folding partitions. We can give you 59 dB. So I can go through some. It's 20. It's 1 minute. It's 1 minute. 1 minute. It's completed. Yeah, next. And one more thing is a vertical movable wall partition. One place. It's completed. This is the last slide. So this is a vertical Skyfold partitions. We can give you the maximum dB level of up to 60 dB we can offer you. This is the highest dB level in the industry. So you can see that how elegant look, and this is a different kind of this vertical partitions. So we have supplied to different global clients in the India and globally. It's completed. Completed. This is the last step. Yeah. Thank you so much. And so it's already time is running out. I'm sorry. So thank you so much for giving me as a great opportunity and honor to present.
I didn't mean to push him, but I genuinely respect everyone's time that you all have taken out and been here, especially as speakers and each of the delegates here. That's why I just had to stick to the time already. Okay, so just quickly, I'm gonna run through this, the questions that Dormakaba had so graciously put across to see how our audience fares. So the first questions with the gifts that we have here, for the gifts that we have here is, what is the name of the Dormakaba sliding folding partition system that can be parked into the ceiling, and what is the maximum sound insulation that can be achieved with this partition? You all can raise your hands if anyone knows the answer. Okay, that individual, sorry? Skyfold, yes. And you also have to give me the second part of the answer. No, wait, 1 minute. 6 dB, he's right. Can we have one of the gifts given to the gentleman there? But that's exactly right. I don't know if he's using the product or if he did see it earlier, but nice. The second question is, among the Dormakaba flap or sensor barrier solutions, which is the sleekest body size that's available? Anyone? Okay, that individual put his hands up. If we can have the mic, nahi, wahan par dijiye. Hitesh, can you give it to the gentleman there?
I think it's 10 inches.
Oh, he's very low. Yeah, okay, yeah, 9.5, 10 inches. That's exactly right. Can we have one gift for him also? 9.5, 10. Okay, honestly, I have 9.5/10 inches, so I think I'm going to give it to him. The third question is, being a research-oriented organization, how many patents does Dormakaba hold globally? 1 minute, one answer at a time. I have only 4 gifts. Oh my God. Oh, I know who to give. I don't know. You can say. Okay, so I will give it to this gentleman here. 1800 patents is right. Okay, so for the last question that I have, which one should we take? Okay. Which are the different types of automatic door solutions offered by Dormakaba? So there are 4 options here. You can probably, any 4 you can name out. Or any 3, chalo, not 4. I can see one person's hand going there, but after I said any 4, he put his hands down. Anyone who wants to give it a shot? Okay, so we'll give a mic here. Hitesh, can we get a mic here? He's going for his second gift.
Yeah, so you have a bifold, circular. You also have revolving.
Yes.
You have, bifold, and also kind of telescopic.
Okay, yeah. So we give him this. He had prompts there, but I'm going to still give him the. Can we have that? Maybe you can. Okay, yeah. So yes, 4 questions it was. Thank you so much for being such a sporty audience actually. And thank you so much, Mr. Satish, for coming here. We'll quickly move to the second industry address of this evening. We have with us Mr. Pankaj Vijay, who is the Vice President of India for Sales at Matrix Concept. And this is a country that is revolutionizing security within workspaces, and something that is so critical to any office space. We would just like to quickly see how Matrix is changing this entire landscape within the office. Mr. Pankaj, a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Pankaj here.
Hi, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, thank you. Sorry. Sure. So, before we start in, a quick observation that I had. We are getting into smart offices. Smart offices where you can open a door by a click of button, you can book your seats, track your utilization in real time. But what if something goes wrong? What will happen? So typically what you see is, you ask simple questions. Who entered? What time he entered? Where is the footage? Oh, these are questions. But then, do you get answers at one location? Mostly no. Those answers are rarely available at one place. And today I am going to address this gap only during my presentations. Oh, sorry, this side? Okay. Across the world, and increasingly in India, workplaces are becoming smarter. Sensors, IoT devices, workplace platform, intelligence access, everything is in the place. Buildings no longer are only physical spaces. They have become more technology platforms. With this transformation happening very quickly, what do we do? Don't you feel buildings are becoming smarter, but still are unsafe? They are automatic, but still exposed. They are connected and still blind. So in real life, most incidents don't happen with the typical hacking stories that we see in the movies. They start with a door that was not supposed to be open, remaining open. A connected devices that was supposed to be observed by someone, but not monitored. A system that didn't talk to each other. So we are talking about smart buildings. Is it? What happens when something goes wrong? That's a bigger question. This pattern is not common only to one city, one town, one part of the geography. It is across the project. And security as a decision is often taken very late in the building life cycle. What happens? 3 things usually happen when you take a decision late. The cost would go up, integration becomes complicated, the operations are fragmented. Because now we are trying to connect systems which were not supposed or originally designed to work together. This becomes more complex in larger cities like Hyderabad, Delhi, Bombay, where you have multi-tenant environments, large IT parks, more complex environment, and which is where more organizations are shifting towards a different approach. What is that approach? When we say security, security by design, we are not talking about installing more cameras, more access control, more connected devices. We are talking about thinking security at the same time when the workplace is being designed. When our friends, colleagues who are architects, consultants, facility teams, when they are thinking about how people would move inside the building, when they are thinking about access control or a fire exit, how monitoring would happen, that is a time security architecture should happen and start, or we should start thinking about them at that point of time. When we start thinking about security at that early stage, systems naturally would start getting connected, they start working together. Security would become or would stop becoming more reactive and become more part of the operational infrastructure of the building. Now, this is not a rare scenario, but even in most advanced workplaces, incidents investigation is still an old way where we say, okay, let's go to video surveillance room, let's go to another platform and verify what is happening. And suddenly there will be few minutes, few hours before we start getting a hang of things that has gone in. So challenge is not about the absence of technology. The challenge is lack of integration of these technologies together and technologies working together in sync. Globally, the shift is happening from isolated systems to more integrated, more connected security infrastructure, where access control starts talking to the IP video surveillance, monitoring systems, fire alarms, building management solutions, and this reduces operational complexities, improves response time, and gives facility team much clearer picture at one location. Matrix is an Indian manufacturer focused on enterprise-grade security systems. Our primary work, span of work is across video surveillance, access control, and other enterprise solutions. We work across different verticals, different commercial verticals. At Matrix, our philosophy is very clear. The security system should not behave like a disconnected infrastructure, but should be more connected devices together. Infrastructure that supports day-to-day operations every day, 365 days of the year, and years together. We also mean that system should be scalable, integratable, compliant, and reliable enough to support enterprise environment. These are some of the Matrix solutions, so close to about 50 intellectual property rights, 250 dedicated research engineers, 1 million plus customers across 50 countries, lot of international accreditations and awards to us. One underlying thing that becomes extremely important in security infrastructure decision is the trust that you put on the technology. At Matrix, the entire ecosystem and ecosystem design engineering from R&D to product design and manufacturing, which means hardware, firmware, everything is built in the same ecosystem to give you a connected architecture. They are all compliant to the national and international compliance standards that are required. And today these solutions are deployed across 50 countries with more than 1 million subscribers. Matrix offers more integrated solution, as I said, across IP video surveillance with modules like centralized video surveillance, parking management, automatic number recognition, perimeter securities, or could be access control, time attendance, cafeteria management, contract worker management, and the entire suite of telecom product. These are some proven live environments across different industry verticals, from being large manufacturer entity to a trying infrastructure project, data centers, where Matrix and Matrix solutions work in sync across the board and give a more synchronized output for a security requirement. So it's an integrated security environment deployed across the board. These are not, so this is what I will end in. Design is what people would see. Security is what makes it work. Thank you very much. I think I'm within the time limit. Thank you. So I made it a point to manage that well.
Thank you so much. A huge round of applause, ladies
Thank
and
you.
gentlemen,
Thank you.
for Mr. Pankaj. Can we have the chairs on stage? All right, so we now move to the first panel discussion. I'm so sorry. Am I right? So we move to the first panel discussion of the evening, which is called the blind spot in a smart office. We always overlook some of the critical details. We see everything, but here we have experts with us who are going to spot us, or we're going to talk about the certain blind spots that we may miss in most of these cases. And to moderate this session, we have Mr. Pathjit Sharma, who is the workplace strategist, founder and director at iDream Advisory Services. Joining him are Arpita Ray, who is the director for workplace strategy and change management and occupancy management at CBRE. We also have Sridevi Devi Reddy, who is the chairperson for Indo-American Chamber of Commerce, and also the VP and for the HR vertical and the corp communications at ASIP Technologies. Along with him is Karishma Mangyani, who is the senior executive for facilities at Gap Inc. And also with them is Professor Shikhar, who is the assistant professor at IIT Hyderabad and also the director at DSSI Studios IIT. He's also the advisor for CII. Along with them is Rohit Mithal, who is a workplace strategist and workplace experience designer. And finally joining them are Venka Reddy, who is Chief People Officer at Polyzine. So this is a panel that is not just about designers, infrastructure, but like I mentioned in the start, it is also something that covers the people aspect of our workplaces. So with this, I'm going to quickly call on stage Mr. Partha to take the podium and take this forward. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for each of our panel members who are joining us here.
Just because you feel a little strange. These days they start to blend together. These days they start to change. I know you've been feeling so stay.
Timeline, 40 minutes.
We have a very strict timekeeper, so we'll try and stick to the time. I think it's always good. I think Rashma is a little worried that people are stuck at the IKEA corner. But with due respect to them, I think you have planned your time well. I think you've actually, you're looking smart. You've planned what to wear today, you planned this taxi to take, and you made it on time. So hats off to you. So a round of applause for all you guys who actually made it on time. And I like to think that people who come on time usually don't come for that bar or for the biryani. I like to think that they're actually here for the content. And I mean, biryani is something which you can order through Swiggy, right? There's one thing which you cannot order through Swiggy. What is that? Can you guess? Sorry? Bringing people, yes. You cannot order the experience, right? Yeah, you cannot order the experience. And I think when you walk back to your offices on Monday, you'll realize that the experience of actually working in an office is actually not as designed as these 4 hours this evening that you've designed for yourself. And I think this is something which is very, very urgent. Just because Professor Shrikar is here, this is not academic, but it's actually urgent because we are talking about a generation of people who are walking into offices where every minute of their time is actually designed. I mean, when you took the taxi today, the Uber actually knows exactly where you are. Netflix knows what you're going to watch this Friday night. There's no football. They know everything. And then when they walk into the offices on a Monday, they come into an experience which we call workplace experience, which is actually kind of just happens to them. And there's a gap there. And that's where this gap that we're talking about in experiences. And to look at experience, I think I'd just like to take half a minute to actually talk about what workplace experience design is in the context of how we're actually discussing. It's that actually looking, identifying friction within organizations as you go about your day-to-day activities and you get people in, you onboard them, you kind of, how you respond to emails, how you respond to messages, how decisions are taken. They are not designed in organizations, and people run into lots of frictions when people actually navigate them. We were talking just before this with Arpita that there's so much of cost, there's so much of loss. And somebody I just read today that I think 22%, I think there's a report by McKinsey, 22% of time is actually lost in offices every week. So that's about 1/5 of global GDP which is lost just because you have this friction. Now think about it, that if you were to look at this as a design problem, as something which can be diagnosed, which can be observed and can be designed, exactly like in IT, you'll probably design some piece of furniture or this lovely pieces of Dharmakoba that you saw. You run it through what, 20 lakh, did I get it right? Any price for that? 20 lakh times you actually make sure that before it goes out to the market is actually working. But when it comes to people who are actually sitting in those chairs and those offices, have we designed experiences for them? I'm not sure. So you're going to look at this from 6 different angles. We have academia, we have the people side of things, we have leadership, we have space, we have strategy, all of that. And so speaking of leadership, I think you got the introduction, but I'd just like to come to Sridevi, maybe put on, she wears different hats. She is the chairperson of the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce. She is also a leader in a large tech company. She was just telling me that she's also helping to startup companies. So she's dealing with leaders who are ranging from what, 20 years to probably 60 years of age? 65. 65? Yeah, right. So you're dealing with different kinds of leaders. And I'd like to put that leadership hat onto you now. And then I'm actually quite curious that when it comes to experience, a lot of people see this as something which is engagement, something which is fluffy, something which is about feeling, and no fault of leaders in a way that organizations are designed like that, right? I mean, in the sense like you insulate the leaders. There's no escalation beyond a certain point. So when something actually eventually comes to the boardroom, how does a leader actually differentiate between, let's say, something which is a nice thing, a feeling to listen to, or something which there's something deeper behind it and something which can be fixed as a design problem?
Thank you, Partha. Good evening, everybody. I just hope we don't make you sleep. We are the first panel. Kindly bear with us, and you have one more panel to go before, which will be between you and your dinner. This is a question whether we are a startup, whether we are a large corporate, we all encounter how to engage our employees. Engagement is a feeling. There are very few metrics where I can actually measure it. I'm sure most of this hall is filled with HRs here. I'm not a pure HR. I have dabbled with marketing, corporate communication, and HR, though by qualification I'm HR. So my current role in this semiconductor company is I'm heading HR for the last 3 years. So frankly, Partha, to your question, when one single person comes up with a feeling and escalates it to us, it remains a feeling. But when you see that recurring across the board, across teams, at regular intervals, then that is something which is a pattern. And that pattern, we have to go back to the root cause, and it is fixable if we can find out. My take is that engagement is a feeling, but if somebody is disengaged, if somebody's voice is not heard, if somebody's query is not answered, if somebody's discomfort is not seen, all said and done, most of us have gone through such situations. We may have a pregnant woman in our workforce. She is going through something and we don't see it. This will get repeated. There is what Gen Z wants versus what I want versus what a 60-year-old founder wants in the name of experience in a workplace are entirely different. Let me tell you, I'm dealing with all the three. All of us are dealing with all the three. So we hired a fresh batch, fresh grads from across the country 1.5 to 2 years ago, and they all came very excited. After 2 days, I saw their faces, they were not so excited. I asked 1 or 2 people something. They were telling, college mein bhi padhna hi tha, yahan pe bhi padhai hi chal raha hai. So they were just they were literally introspecting that because we gave them something to learn. The first 1-2 months, you are not productive for me. There's a lot of things I have to teach you. So they were doing a lot of training. They had regular schedules. So they were not. So you know what I did? Within 1 week, 10 days, with my management's approval, I brought a TT table into one hall. I brought something else into one hall, a carom board and some chess, things like that, and a full-fledged pantry. Everything changed. Everything changed. It's not that they are not studying. They are putting in 6 hours, 7 hours of study hour or learning time. But that said, the very perception changed. We are no more in college. You're allowed to play ping pong. You're allowed to play caroms. You're allowed to, there was a full-fledged library, by the way. The library was not, I didn't purchase books. I sent an internal note to everybody in the WhatsApp group, my office WhatsApp group, whichever books you can give away, whichever books you have extra, you can keep it in the office library or office reading shelf, we called it. We gave a sexy name to it. So every single person brought a book and kept it there, and that got full.
I'm actually, quite.
So this is something they are still reading, they are still studying, they will be doing for the next 2-3 months, but the feeling changed. This is just an example I'm trying to give. There was this pregnant lady, the first pregnant lady in our office. In large corporations, maybe that's not an unusual thing. For us, it was the first. So there are so many things normally we don't consider. So I had to go and tell her reporting boss, her line manager, that, Bhai Sahab, please, she will do the work she's doing, but you need to give her breaks. You need to give her regular breaks. There are a lot of other things we need to do for her to make her feel comfortable till she actually goes on maternity leave, which is not the normal. So you will make everybody sit in the room and for everybody the same rule applies. Doesn't work like that. So that's my answer to your feeling question.
Yeah.
Hope I answered. Any
absolutely.
follow-on question?
Yeah.
I'm
It
there.
speaks of a very caring organization as well. And
These were very small interventions,
Right.
very small interventions, but if we can observe those signs, if we can observe those feelings, those signs, those behaviors, they won't go into a pattern.
right.
If you don't address it, they become a pattern.
Yeah. Yeah. It gets normalized. And
It gets normalized.
हमें सही होता है इधर, like that's what happens. Yeah, I think that normalization is very risky. So I'm just a little curious to dig a little deeper, but I want to get that answer from the lady sitting next to you, Arpita. I think I have this cheat sheet, but I'm so enjoying this conversation that I'll actually carry on, if you don't mind, on this conversation. She spoke about knowing that journey to that TT table. Okay, now you, Arpita, as you know, she's from CBRE. CBRE is known as, I'm not advertising CBRE, somebody who is all about square foot and space, right? But I'm sure that in your job, well, there must be people who's coming to you and say that, hey, let's not talk about right sizing, let's talk about a workplace where people actually enjoy coming. So what, like, again, reference to that journey to that TT table, do you want them to look at when people say this, if they say this to you at all?
Sure, thanks. I think what's really interesting is that while we do get questions on square footage, right, and a very key part of what I do is look at efficiency, but we also look at effectiveness, engagement, and then overall experience. How does that sit in the overall experience? And of course, square footage is a discussion that we are always having, right? What square footage should we get? What should we have within that square footage? And very often the example of the Google slide comes up, right? That Google slide, and the first thing clients tell me is, but we are not Google, right?
They're not.
But I think what's very, very interesting, and it dawned upon me one day when I was going to a client site, that what does that slide really mean, right? And what's interesting, and this is my own assumption of what it means in the Google context, but it really, to me, means that you have the permission to do things differently. After that first initial sliding down one floor, I don't think people really go back to slide down, but it becomes a splash in the papers, it becomes a discussion everywhere. So it's, when you say you have a slide in office, it's not about the slide in office, it's the permission to do things differently, and the permission to be who you are and bring your authentic self to work. And I think everybody mistakes it for wasted real estate, which it is not. It's a message. And that's similar for, let's say, height adjustable desks. So, Featherlight here maybe makes height adjustable desks as well. And when you do put them in office, you would hear leadership tell you very often that, but my organization, you'd never see anybody use it. We should take it out the next time, right? Because nobody's using it. Maybe make it lesser, maybe make it 5%, 10%, whatever the logic is. But I think it's also the same message. It's a message that we value your ergonomics, and you have the choice to use this furniture, if you will, for what you need to do. The same holds true for informal collaboration areas, what you call the fallen space in any design, right? Any space we designers find empty, you put this pretty furniture, and then leadership will always tell you, but it never gets used. It costs a bomb. It never gets used. Next time round, remove it. But, I think the messaging that I keep going back and giving them is sometimes it's a message, right? And you need to keep giving that message till people start getting comfortable using it. Because in India, as a hierarchical country, we see informal furniture as you are probably wasting your time, right? So you might as well do this wasting your time in the cafeteria and at the pool table maybe, and not in the office space. So I think experience is also about permissions, mostly tacit. And then, how you take that forward, who you become as an organization, how do you innovate, how flexible are you overall? So, so I personally think that it definitely goes beyond square footage. It's about people, it's about how they feel, it's about behaviors, and it's about ultimately bringing your authentic self and delivering to the promise of the organization.
I mean, you spoke about one end of the spectrum in the sense, like you spoke about the piece of furniture, and then Sridevi actually spoke about feelings. So
Right.
It's almost like a spectrum. And I think, Venka, you probably deal with this on a day-to-day basis. We were actually conversing outside, and he mentioned that they have a ENPS, Employee Net Promoter Score, that they actually run quite regularly. And this actually, I think, I'm not an HR expert, but it kind of tracks engagement of people. I think, for me, sorry if I'm challenging you, but for me, engagement is a very surface level symptomatic thing. You need to go a little deeper. And I'm sure you do this. What I'm curious to know is, you look at engagement scores, something is not working out, but do you actually try and find out that's the temperature reading, right? It's too cold, but do you actually try to find out what's wrong, what is causing this, and how do you do that if you do that?
I think, good evening, everyone. A very interesting question. That happens almost every day, and there are thousands of people, they are walking into your organization every day, and they are leaving back home every day. And when they step in and they look at that, a lot more things. One is that what is going inside, and they may have work pressure, they may have some family related stuff, they may have some friends coming and meeting them, or they may have a workload, something going always in the back of their mind. And assume that they are coming and coming inside and trying to swipe, and there is a queue, or maybe that the door is not opening, or the swipe machine is not recording properly, or once they get into the seat, look at that, the AC is more, as you rightly said, and then the temperature, right? And you come across everything. Then they go to the vending machine, then they go to the restroom. You look at that everywhere. There could be some friction that could be possible. Some consciously identifying some small irritants, the large irritants, and no irritants. Somebody looks at it, they look at it as it is a small thing, it is okay, and although they notice, they adjust and they understand and they don't make it a big thing. There are people who want that everything should be spick and span, and when they try to make it even a small thing also big thing, sometimes one set of people where we see, they ignore, they adjust. A set of people, they don't want to adjust, right? And in that moment, what happens is that they come back, and if they have a system available, they go and put it. And if we do the ENPS once in a quarter, it will be too late for them. And if it is going to be happening once in 6 months, some they remember the recency factor. And then in some cases that if you have a daily pulse check, they go and put it. So it all happens that, what kind of a friction point and how do you put it. And when we do it as an ENPS survey, we typically do it every quarterly or 6 months, once in 6 months. Then we look at it. It only asks 3 questions. Typically it asks you, how well would you want to recommend this to your colleague or a friend, this organization. Second, why are you giving that, what rating you give, and why are you giving that rating? And what it takes to, 3 questions, what it takes to get the highest score. Typically people go back and they ask that, they talk about one of the recent thing, the office chairs. The chairs were there, and some of those people feel that they were not comfortable, and largely it went into a prolonged way of removing it. You can't simply replace the chair, and each chair would be costing about 6,000 to 7,000 rupees. And then at that moment, it was going, when one fine day, when we were looking at the actionables, and typically it came in saying that why this was not being done. And then there are multiple reasons, right? For when it comes to HR, there are multiple things. Then when it comes to facilities, there are multiple things. Everything revolves around budget. And that budget thing is with the CFO. When we look for that, is the budget available? When we solve it, and then everything will come in. So at the end of the day, experience is not static, and you have everything great, but you don't have people coming in greeting or not responding on time. Everything, you have a beautiful office, and what will happen? I was telling outside that when I was telling that when you have vacation, and then you look at festival coming, and then you have some large meeting happening, annual day happening, and you put a lot of effort for one small event, and the entire company puts entire money and entire effort, entire resources around one small object, which may last for an hour or two, a day or two. right?
Yeah.
And then comes back into that, the office is something, there are certain things which has to happen every day, that you spend about 8 to 10 hours in office, and you have to look at a lot more things that which will make you motivated, make you, that your experience matters, right? But many a times the companies don't spend time, and then only focus on these small events which are momentary and which are happening on a once in a year or once in a quarter kind of a thing, right? But I think it is important for the companies to look at employees and what kind of an experience they deserve and what kind of an experience they need to bring it to their business and customers, and how is this revolving around and how do you look at it. And lastly, that what we were trying to work around that vibe score, and then how we would want to identify those friction points, and how do we try to identify those friction points and then remove those friction points. And lastly, that as we say that largely the entire ecosystem, if you actually look at all said and done, it is all employer centric. In the office you look at, there might have been some design, something might have been done beautifully, all the posh things would have been put in, but many a times the conference room, the chair, the cubicle, the meeting room, or the restroom, or maybe the sit-out area, everything is being designed aesthetically look good, and maybe it to some extent look little rich, but not making an employee comfortable. So how do we try to look at that? And now the era is changing. The Gen Alpha is trying to question us, saying that this is not comfortable to us. How will you make it more comfortable? Which is there, that it becoming more employee centric than employer centric.
Before Gen Alpha, I'll go to Gen Z. You said you use a term called what they want, what employees want. And I think the closest to what employees want, our generation, is Karishma here, who's a very young, dynamic leader at Gap Inc., you say? Gap INC? Gap, right, Gap Inc. And she's actually looking after real estate there. I think Venka spoke about a few things from a leadership perspective, Sridevi did. But from, so that's a 30,000 level view to some extent. But of course, both Sridevi and Venka spoke about what they do actually to understand what's hiding behind that feeling. But what does the current generation, you're closest to them probably, what do they actually want, you think, which leadership completely misses or doesn't even think about? He also spoke about beautiful offices. Is the biggest myth in this room that if you design a beautiful office, everything will work out on its own? So there are two questions there.
Thank you, Partha. Hello everyone, I'm Karishma from Gap Inc. And I would definitely disappoint few architects over here. But yes, indeed, that's the biggest myth, I would say. Of course, it for an extent, it does contribute having a beautiful site, but that does not create only employee experience. Just by having a good site, you'll not be happy, right? So let's say if we take an example of our day-to-day lives, how many of us, even though we are from facilities, how many of us go back home and maybe crib about a micro tipping floor, that it was not polished well, or there was a crack on the floor? Do we? We don't, right? But like how my colleague Venka also said, that let's say in case if your access was not working, and for that reason maybe you were delayed for a meeting, maybe you are already having a bad day and all you need is a cup of coffee. But when you walk up to a cafe, you see a machine broken. So that something does not create an experience. And that's like, you already have a bad day now. So not by having a good site will only contribute to a good experience. There's a lot indeed. And I would say facilities, let's say if I'm doing a good job today, that's fine, right? Our success is invisible. But if something breaks, where is facilities team? What are they up to? What are they doing? So that is something, not just having a good site would indeed, of course, let's say even now, I would say, let's say their office is very nice. I would like to go and work there. But is it really creating that impact? maybe I would love to go to office where you'll have nice cafeterias, coffee shops below. And in one office, you do not have those many restaurants or options available. But in that one, you have a nice experience. At least the facilities you've been getting, you are using those and you are meeting your goal, your work day and your day-to-day job. And that's something is a basic need, I would say, in today's era.
Yeah, there's disappointment to architects that you mentioned.
Yeah,
We have one architect sitting there.
sorry, Rohit.
Rohit, yes. So he also does workplace strategy. He does change management. I don't know if you're disappointed, but I mean, if you think about I mean, everyone's been telling their own stories. Can you think of something which somebody actually did very nice work? Probably the architect got an award, but it completely backfired. Or maybe the leadership actually imagined it in a certain way, and maybe the diagnosis was not done properly and it backfired. And why?
I'm definitely not disappointed with you because moreover, architects are approaching in a strategy point of view. It is giving a direction and considering the core values and what the new generation are wanting. Coming to the question, there are certainly many leadership decisions are taken on assumption based actually, moreover like slogan based, which means like open office means more of collaboration, hard desking means savings, or smart office means smart working. That is completely backfiring. Two common problems everywhere we are seeing in global perspective and even in local point of view is open offices that is backfiring due to privacy breach or acoustical barriers were missing. That is depleting the focus. The ability of focus is in assigned workplace, it was 80. In an assigned place, it has dropped to 6-7%. So one more example would be hard desking. Again, hard desking is also certain point in disappointing and backfiring more in recent times. Even the research is focusing more on that perspective, saying that you need more of activity-based working, that is like solving and iterating for every periodic time, like including our focus huddle zones or focus zones. This is certainly experience to employ, right? This is causing a friction in the day-to-day working style. When you are involved so much deeply in your work, these are all secondary. When we are talking about all this aesthetics and everything, over the time, you will be fascinated on the day one. Over the time, it can certainly drop because you have a lot of things to deal and a lot of people to answer to. So these are backfiring.
And I guess these things also keep on changing, right? All the data also keeps on changing every 2-3 years. Like, what's popular today may not be popular tomorrow. And the interesting thing about is that I just keep running short of time, but want to bring Srikar in quickly, Professor Srikar. I think there's been a lot of research going on in IIT, and the good news is I think probably India's, if not the world's first certified program on employee experience design is being launched, has been running from IIT Hyderabad, and he has been instrumental behind that. And I'm quite curious that, we saw lovely chairs, we saw lovely furniture here today. Every piece of furniture is tested 10,000 times before it actually goes out. You've been in that, and a lot happens in IIT as well. But the person who sits there, the experience is not designed for them. What was it that actually made you think that this actually deserves that rigor, academic rigor? And
Yeah, thanks for the question, Prathan. Now, there were lovely presentations before we had this panel discussion. I mean, there are a few set of individuals who are also responsible. I mean, there are a lot of engineers working on these products that you guys have presented. So I also represent a group of architects. I'm also an architect and also an industrial designer, apart from various other degrees that I hold. I'm currently in an academic position. So industrial designers essentially are a few minority set of people who are really obsessed with experience. Now we're talking about workplace experience, employee experience, and so on. Now, as in the early stages of training as an industrial designer, one thing is taught as a lesson, right? You don't fall in love with your first attempt as a solution, whatever comes to your mind, and you put it on the paper. So, and as a definition of design itself is a method to action. And over many decades, a slew of designers have come up with various methodologies, and I'm sure most of you would have heard of this term called design thinking, and it's been used far and wide. Everybody uses these days, and one of it being a quick fair representation of it is a double diamond process. So what happens essentially in this is that you go have an empathetic lens. Empathy is important, observation is important, and you go about building prototypes, you test these prototypes with assumptions, and then you go about iterating with evidence. Now, this is a set process which has been popularized and used by all the leading designers, architects, and so on, but to a certain end goal there. But what we have identified, I mean, you see, for example, this chair, if it is not comfortable and you have certain devices which might be confusing to use, you don't go about blaming the users who are using them. You essentially go back to the drawing board to kind of really intervene and kind of redesign it. So this essentially the process which is linked to the process of looking at products. But when it comes to the workplaces, you are given a workplace, and you might also be given a set of hybrid workplace policies, the managers, HR managers here and so on. You might also be given, the employees have been given a set of well-being initiatives and so on, and these all looks fluffy, fancy in all the boardrooms, and you go about delivering this. So you've got a fancy, fantastic office, and just deal with it and get onto your regular roles. But one of the biggest challenges that I see with most of the organizations here is that very few of the organizations get engaged in this prototyping mentality, right? So they don't essentially do the prototyping, testing, and having to scale with evidence. That's the biggest gap, and that's precisely why IIT Hyderabad and me, myself, and a group of very enthusiastic professors and professionals in the ecosystem want to kind of really delve into this particular issue. And I would also want to take this opportunity, this stage platform, to invite all the leaders here present to be part of this growing ecosystem of a platform that we've created. We are rolling out the second cohort after the success of first cohort. We call it Driving Organizational Effectiveness Through Employee Experience. This will be happening in August 8th and 9th. It's a 2-day leadership cohort retreat. And this is where we would want to kind of engage with the leadership to understand these nuances, understanding these metrics and frameworks, to see how we time these things, which link to the overall organizational performance, keeping in the employee experience part of it, right? So it's a interesting thing where a lot of co-creation activities are planned to kind of learn together. And India is a very unique market and huge. I mean, in terms of the employees, we're all, 1.4 billion population and the growing, thriving employee workforce. We are doing a lot of back-end to the global giants and so on. So the way these experiences are changing very fast with the advent of AI and so on. So we are keen and interested to kind of delve into this particular topic. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So thanks, Srikar. I think we've run out of time. We managed to speak to everyone. Wish you could go on and on. Is there time for questions? Do you want to take any questions? Yeah. So if you want to know more about the IIT program, more about anybody else, there's things you can actually interact with them later on. Some of them will stay back, some have to rush back. But as you go back, try and remember, once you go back to your office on Monday, was my evening better designed on Friday than the work experience, the employee experience journey that I go into on the Monday morning. So thank you so much. Thank you, panelists. Thank you.
Applause, ladies and gentlemen. I'm quickly going to call on stage Mr. Ramesh Bhaskar Rao from Brahmakaba and Mr. Pankaj Vijay from Matrix Comsec to give a small token of appreciation from each of us to the speakers here. Thank you so much, Partha, for this beautiful narration. And honest to God, we never see this side of the discussion in this forum. Like, it is very rare where we get an HR, where we have the PMC guys, and also, someone from the academic side, everyone together on the platform to have a discussion that goes beyond infrastructure. So thank you so much for bringing them together for us. You can take it.
You spoke about the awards, the design awards, all of those awards. I'm a little disturbed by that, in the sense all of the awards are for buildings have just been completed and looks very nice. But what about a building where it's actually working very well?
Each of your inputs. It would be so amazing to see if you have the right parameters from their perspective actually. I have never done
You should
that.
have an award for which building actually worked very well after 1 year.
Yeah, that's actually true. But definitely we will get. Please, if you could have thank you so much. Thank you. We'll start with the moderator first. Mr. Padajit Sharma, please, thank you so much. If you could come forward to take our this. Arpita, if you could please come forward. Thank you once again to all the speakers here today and the moderator of this evening for bringing this beautiful, insightful discussion for us here. We'll just take one last photograph of all the speakers up front on the stage. In the meanwhile, I'll just, please, come ahead if you're in. I'll just Thank you once again. Thank you once again. Now, moving to the, before we go to the next session, we have a short industry address by Mr. Satish Kumar Sharma, who is the President for Sales and Marketing at Federal Products. And he is one dynamic individual who's just going to give you a quick glimpse into how ergonomic furniture can revolutionize how employees experience a workspace. So with this, a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, to Mr. Satish Sharma. Mr. Satish?
Hello, good evening everyone. Okay, I'm very interested. I check, yeah, it's okay. Thank you. So very interesting from the earlier panel discussion. We may have beautiful office, economy, chairs, very good work. Important is ergonomic break. I think the mic is also helping to take that break now. So may I request everybody stand for a minute, please. This is the time where these technicians are going to set this up. Take a deep breath. Feeling good? It's not a yoga class. It's not at all a yoga class. It is address something on ergonomics aspect from Featherlight. Yes, please. Thank you so much for being a good sport. Please take your seat. And one good news with this particular ergonomic break is there is a bowl there at Featherlight, and anybody who has got their visiting card, please drop your card. If you haven't brought your visiting card, you can take mine or any of the Featherlight person and put your name, because there is a lucky draw which we are going to have in this particular session, and the winner is going to get an ergonomic chair. Sounds exciting? Yeah. So, sure. You can give me the hand one. That's okay. Give me the hand one. That's okay. Rashmi, stop the time. Okay, check. So I think ergonomic break is required for the speaker too. And let's go ahead. So, what are we going to talk today is more on sound, more on acoustics. Before that, let's go ahead in terms of the history of sound. Before there was light, before there was any matter, before we could touch, before we could feel, there was sound. Now that's what yogis say 5,000 years back. That's the genesis of the sound. In 1960, there is a physician from European country, one of the European country, and he tried having a correlation between the frequency of the sound and the geometric pattern. To make it simple, you take a plate, and in the plate you can have certain sand, certain granular particles, or in the water. If there is a specific frequency, automatically the geometric patterns are created. Less frequency, simple design. Frequency goes high, the geometric patterns become very, very complicated and intricate. Now, the science behind the sound and the vibration, we call it as cymatics. Sound is a very creative force. Sound need not be read. Sound needs to be heard. Sound needs to be chanted. And that's the importance of the Sanskrit word, Om. So here we will take a break and look forward for a small video before we get into the acoustics. So with this particular video, what we were trying to actually share is this particular geometric patterns, what we are able to see, has a relation with regard to the frequency of the sound. If the frequency of the sound is low, the patterns are very simple. As the frequency goes high, the patterns become more intricate. That is the reason even in the past, if you look at certain ancient monuments, look at the ceilings. Those ceilings have the reflection of the patterns with regard to the frequency. Now, having said this particular background, the relation with regard to the sound and the vibration, we call it as cymatics, and sound is an organized energy, and the office is no different with regard to it. So this is just a pictorial picture in terms of the design, how it actually moves. Having said this, the relation with regard to the office, everybody is looking at open office system, right? We want people to collaborate. We want people to have focused way of working. But if there is a lot of noise, cluttered noise, it impacts the productivity, it impacts the person's efficiency. And now we are looking at solutions, how to actually avoid that. So Featherlight has come up with certain different solutions depending upon the different part of the office in terms of whether it is a workstations, full enclosure, semi-enclosed, and we came out with certain solutions in terms of the today's trend. How many of you use this kind of a product at your office? Please raise the hands. Nice. So many of you, right? So it's an insulated pod, and the whole idea is in an open office, good to collaborate, but when you have those confidential discussions, one-to-one conversations, you would like to get into this pod and have that chat. The pod which gives you the support of light plus the circulation of air. Tomorrow you want to dismantle it, move it to another area, it gives you that flexibility. Yeah, it's modular in nature. Not this floor, the other floor. So that is the power of that particular pod. Coming to the new generations coming in where they would like to have those conversations, product like this can even support one-to-one kind of a discussion, and along with the storage, you can use the material which is like PET material, which again absorbs sound. So what we are trying to do is in an office environment, if there are, sounds coming in, are there solutions which can help to absorb the sound? If you look at this workstation, looks very simple, but if you look at the Modesty panel down here, or even with the screen, now both this material, you can actually get it done with a sheet metal or a pre-laminated board. But if you use a PET material, where the area gets larger for the sound to absorb, it helps. How many of you use this product, height adjustable table? So simple solution. For the one who are not using, please start using this product. It helps to burn calories. It helps you to stand up, be active, especially after lunch, and it can adjust for everybody's height. And if you look at this product, there is a screen which again absorbs sound. If you haven't seen this product, there is a stall behind. Please spend some time. How with those motorized workstation, it helps you to change the height. Yeah? And if you look at this product, this we call it as a screen, and if you look at below, there are casters, just very similar like a chair. The idea is real estate being so expensive, you need to reconfigure each area in terms of the activity. Today, you want those private one-to-one conversations, use these screens. If you want to create that area into an open plan system, please stack these screens at the corner. It helps. Look at this. It has storage, but with a PET material, but it has again the casters. So anybody can move along with the wall and create that open space. So that's an advantage of this product. Very much similar to that where your biophilic solutions also can be mapped. You can improve the quality of air by product like this. And if you look at plug and play, especially for the new generations, again, this product is really good where people can come and have those kind of discussion. Storages, at times these storages become a corner part of the office, right? But today you can create the storages which facilitates conversations between people, and you can have open, storage with a tech material which absorbs sound. You want to come up with lockers with perforation, again it supports the absorption of sound. So everywhere, if you look at the research says that when the sound hits the employee or gets distracted, it takes almost 30 to 40 minutes for them to again get focused. Products like these really help employees to actually use the infrastructure and be more productive. So one kind of a product, we have it here. Please do come over to the stall and drop your visiting card for the lucky draw. I know Rashmi is looking at me. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. Looking forward to connect with you all. Thank you.
I'm sorry for that tech glitch that we had in the beginning, but you covered up for that very well. Now, the second session of this day is, it's in developers' perspective. The ones who invest, who build, who conceptualize these spaces we're in. In fact, the property that we are in right now also belongs to this particular speaker's company, and knowing him, I know he doesn't need much introduction around our circles. So I'm going to quickly call on stage Mr. Gibson Paul, who is the Managing Director for Hyderabad, Cushman and Wakefield, who's moderating this session along with our speaker of this session, which is Mr. Venkat Neelkantan, who is a Senior Vice President and Head for Asset and Facility Manager at K. Vaheja Corp. They're going to talk about something that goes beyond just building sustainable offices. It's about creating an office that adheres to the principles of circular economy, which is not about making the space alone sustainable, but what happens even after that, and also aligning to other workspace principles. So, and I know him a lot before from his previous company, which was Capgemini, and I've had the opportunity to see one of his presentations, and I'm really looking forward to hearing him today. So I'm going to quickly call on stage Mr. Venkat and Mr. Paul here to come and share their thoughts with
Check. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for your time. As the theme of this event talk more about the workplace design consisting of, so many brains here, experienced people. I see a lot of people, I sometimes feel nervous looking some of the senior architects, our clients, my colleagues, ex-colleagues. Thank you so much. I have a very experienced gentleman here, Mr. Venkat, who has been with corporate real estate for many years, comes with deep knowledge about CRE, workplace. He was with the occupier clients for many years. Now he manages millions of square foot for K. Vaheja Corp. So thank you so much, Venkat. So let me put the time first. I know there's the next panelist.
It's right there for us. It's right there.
No. I had what you call a agreement with the next panelist. You finish in 30 minutes, I will buy you a drink. So I'm waiting for that. Sorry. Quickly moving on to the panel.
This is more about workplace strategy and design. My first question to Mr. Neil Venkat is, many organizations are investing significantly in the workplaces, yet utilization remains inconsistent. At what point should leaders stop asking, how do we get people back to office, and instead ask, why should the office actually be for?
Well, looking at the monsoon season, I don't think we should push people back to office. I don't think you'll ever reach the office. A few weeks ago, there was issues. But first, thank you very much, Rashmi and Indrajit. I don't know where he is, but thank you very much for this opportunity. It's a pleasure to be here. Very interesting question. In my previous avatar, yes, a constant question of why people are not coming to office. At that time, the lady was saying in the earlier panel, not good coffees are available, not good food is available, so I won't come to office. No good transport is available, I won't come to office. Then it was more flexible, but I think hybrid is being settled now, and there are firms which have decided to go that way, but there are other firms who said 5 days is mandatory. To answer your question straight, Gibson, I think that conversation is over. It's like the COVID vaccine, it is there in your body. It will remain until whatever the future says.
Okay, good. You said that it's an outdated question. I agree with you. Thank you. The other important question, Sri Venkat, is, over the period, workplace has evolved, the buildings have evolved, and the workforce also has changed over the period. Gone away the days when my boss used to say, boss, you don't have an office, but still you have to work. So we used to find some convenient place somewhere at the corner of the road and still work. But today, the Gen Z, or I don't know what, the Gen Alpha, they all. So especially what I've noticed is the organizations are creating the workplaces which suits more for the entry level kind of a people or mid management. So I just want to ask you, for the past 4 generations of workforce, office spaces evolve. How should workplace design evolve to support different work styles, expectation, and collaboration preferences?
Well, he said 4th generation. I think I can call myself in the 1st generation in that 4th generation. We were all stuck to a desk for a long time. And I think I come pre-internet era as well. And when the day we had internet at office, I can't tell you the excitement. First, didn't understand what it was. Just as how people speak about AI today, many times we don't understand what it means, but everybody speaks about it. We didn't have much opportunity to choose a space. We didn't have much opportunity to say, this is what I want from a workplace. That's the generation 1. And then it came to this mingling with international travel and various firms coming to play with ideas, and the layout changes. Then this came with the philosophy of we are an open, there is no differentiation between leader, manager, and subordinate. We should all, live together and be happy, one good happy family. But yet the issues of sound comes into play. That was our conversation in the previous thing. And then we had the unfortunate pandemic, which if you stand today, it was more than half a decade ago. It sounds longer, half a decade ago, 6 years ago it happened. And then the whole philosophy of workplace changed. First, I can't come to work, then I don't want to come to work, then I will come to work if A, B, C, D is different. I want more open spaces, more conversational, more innovation can happen, more agile can happen. You need a place where you can sit and have coffee and have a conversation. You need a place where you can just sit quietly. There's quiet zones, right? Then there is biophilia that came into play. This change is going to be constant. Architects will constantly find way to make it exciting and entertaining for all of us. And I'm actually enjoying the change. It's been 7 years I have not had an office, open office, sitting wherever you want, work, and sometimes you just go home and continue. So the change is imminent, sir. The change is constant. We just have to find ways to make people more, make more exciting to come to work. But, the Rashmi's introduction from a tenant perspective, my interest would be, how do I make sure everybody comes based on the agreed timeline, right? And you have varied expectations when they come to work. From a Now, from a builder's perspective, what can I do differently from an amenity point of view, right? I mean, you view so many places where the amenities have restaurants, you have pickleballs, you have gymnasiums, you have, I don't know what else is there. Different experience of cafeteria across various, it's a constant challenge we have, and we have to re-evaluate, reinvent ourselves to meet the changing demands.
Thank you so much. The other important aspect is, today most of us have access to the social media, a lot of content, information which is available. So these days, most of the employees always have this kind of a demand, but when it comes to the global workplace experience or our own workplace experience, but every market has its own culture, regulations, employee expectation. Is there really such a thing as one size fits for all workplace, or should local needs to take precedence?
I mean, if you look at a flow plate, it's human beings using it. So there is a certain design which can be consistent and common across all countries. I've had the privilege of fitting out offices across 55 countries, spanning various continents and various cultures, various expectations. But one thing remains the same is the layout of open offices. We're talking about layouts. The layout of open offices continue to be same. But when I go to a country where, let's say, Islamic country, there are certain mandatory expectations in the office. When I go to Norway, for example, the way they calculate seats is very different. In the sense, you put a sofa, it's not considered a workstation. So if you say I have 100 seats for 100 people in the office, for 200 people, I work on a hybrid model of 50%. 100 people come to office. Unlike here, we will say I have 50 seats, workstations, 20 seats, collaboration. So I reshuffle my real estate to be more optimal in my spend. You can't do that in Norway. If you have 100 people coming, you need 100 workstations. So that's different. That's a regulation. Culture, it's different, but it's still manageable. It's still manageable. We can.
So you say that one place doesn't work for everyone, but it should be evolved or designed to suit the local culture, the people, and the kind of work the companies do.
Totally agree. Like our sari shops, we still have many sari shops, you still have many raiments, types of raiments, you still have many shops giving you the same thing. It doesn't fit everybody in the same country. So the opportunity is there for us to learn. See, I can tell you one thing. The transition to an open office abroad has been easier than the transition to an open office here. We speak openly, we speak loudly, we have conversation. There, it's limited. If there is a no telephone zone put, there is a no telephone zone. हमको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता क्या फोटो लगा है क्या चिपका है कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है.
We are still proud to be called Indians.
आप कौन होते हो मुझे to say I cannot speak, I will speak here.
Thank you so much. In today's market, occupiers are under a lot of pressure to create a premium workplace experience. So at the same time, they need to optimize on the cost. Where do you think that organizations really have to invest? Whether to focus on investing on certain aspects, or is any opportunity for them to avoid certain costs, especially in creating a nice workplace?
See, it all depends on the organization. I've seen some very large GCCs coming and giving a floor plate which is phenomenal. We can't even dream of 200 square foot per person. At the same time, there are organizations which stick to 60, 70 square foot per person, right? Are they right? Are they wrong? It's subjective. It's based on the business and based on what they're trying to achieve. So there are firms which have deep wallet. They can invest, they can pay that. We know that very well. But there are small firms which struggle. Amenities are common. Expectations are similar. So if in a multi-tenant building, people can come together and as a landlord, I can provide that amenity, make it easy for a lot of tenants. Why not? We can have a conversation.
So tell me something. This, of course, is not part of this question, but Of course, there are some organizations which have deeper pockets. They have an opportunity to invest a lot. Tell me something, is it required to invest in that kind of workplace depending upon the kind of work they do?
I think it is all about fairness and equity and equality. They have a certain design and layout outside and they want to bring that here. I think that's the USP. That's the selling. And if they want to hire people at a certain premium, they're able to do that based on the investments that they're making. I know we worked on a particular specific engagement a year ago with DSP, and they had 150 square feet, then they came down to 125. Eventually they landed at 90, but they start big. And then they realized how the Indian real estate market works. They eventually toned down the gap between what can be actually delivered and what the expectations they want to bring on board.
Thank you so much. I know Arpita is busy chatting with Vaibhav, but Arpita, you work on, she's my ex-colleague, she works a lot on workplace. You want to add something on this, especially on this investing too much on the fit-outs or the workplace? She's smiling. I don't.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
She advises clients on how they need to design their workplace, but I thought you don't need a mic, Arpita, you can shout. Sorry to change that, but do we really have to invest too much on the workplace or should we be conservative?
I think one can be conservative as long as you're focusing on the right elements, you're focusing on the right experiences. I think cost is a factor, yes, but you don't need to necessarily be extravagant about workplaces.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Very diplomatic.
No, not at all, never diplomatic.
Another one. I think we have another 10 minutes. We'll quickly close. Every organization wants a workplace that's inspiring, delivered quickly, and within budget. But let's be honest, budget and design ambitions are almost always fighting each other. Where do you personally draw the line?
I don't draw any line, Gibson. I think that's the reality of life in real estate. Nothing works the way you want it to work. How much ever you stand here and say, I'm a great leader, then nothing works. You think you're doing a great design, the moment it comes to BOQ, change that hand dryer to a local hand dryer, right? change from an automatic tab, let's take a manual one. Then you start filtering. And then our designers say, this is what you wanted, this was your vision, this is what you want to give to your team. Come on, man, I can't go back and ask for extra money. And then you decide, you ask for sofa sets. So you start from United States, then you end up in England, then you end up in Sri Lanka, then you come to India, then you come to Hyderabad, you go locally. So a lot of things changes, factors changes as the day goes. Do we ever deliver it on time? Honestly, never. Because there's a constant change that comes in the way. And there are reasons for it, nothing negative. But we try and manage it. We have to deliver.
I think Architects has a better answer for this. These are all the pain points. Thank you so much. Other important aspect, today, the markets are evolving, the locations are changing, dynamically. Just want to ask you, when does it make more sense to upgrade an existing workplace rather than relocate to newer asset?
I think, Gibson, you are best to answer that from an IPC perspective, because the real estate is all about rent, not about the capex for the fit out. So the moment you say you're paying 50 rupees today, you renegotiate the lease to 70 rupees per square foot, I rather go to a new place at 75 rupees a square foot, I get a better depreciation, I have a longer term story with whomever. But if the same 50 rupees is at 55 and say, okay, let us refurbish some of the interiors, of course we will. So it's a business proposal, and how you amortize it, and how bad is that asset? We don't know.
Yeah.
And what are we changing? Sometimes, many times we end up looking at just the interior fit out, but when the arteries and lungs and kidneys of the building are failing. So that's not visible to anybody. And there's no point in putting money in that same asset. So we need to take a holistic view.
I would rather put it this way, as long as the location and the building suits the employees in terms of commute, and then of course rent plays a very important role, depends upon organizations really have that kind of a budget to relocate it to a higher end. Or they may do, I think, yes, we do that location.
I'll give you a classic example. When you have East and West Egypt, right? West Egypt is $110, $115 per square foot. East is 45, 50. And both two sides of pyramid. But दोनों sides of pyramid दिखता है. But you have Pepsi, you have Vodafone, you have Unilever, you name it, they're all on the west side. Why would you go sit on the east?
Good. Like we have the Raidurg market and the Nanak Ramgooda market. I think Mr. Praveen Upadhyay would have answered it very precisely, but they have a next panel they may still use. Thank you so much. The last one, what KPI should organizations use to measure workplace success today? Beyond occupancy, which metrics provide the most meaningful insight into business and employee outcomes?
Well, from a landlord perspective, I measure my KPI on very simple factors. And then I'll get to the tenant side because that solves the tenant's problem. My focus is very simple in the sense, does your elevator work simple? You press a button, does it come or does it not come? When you press, you enter, you go to your floor. Is your common area clean? Basic cleanliness. I'm not talking about high funda, smelling like some major perfume, nothing. Simple. Is it hygiene and clean enough? If I get my fundamentals right, Gibson, I think we have won at least half or more than half of the battle. The rest of it are the bells and which makes people happier. But I should get my fundamentals right. And I think from a tenant perspective, that's what I want. When somebody has come into the building, they want to get invariably, everybody's on the phone, the call has started and the elevator, the call breaks. Elevator irony, it's such a useless elevator. This building is pathetic. It sucks. Let's leave the building. It's not so easy. Right? Airtel doesn't work. Jio doesn't work. Vodafone doesn't work. Idea doesn't work. Hey, HR, what more can you get? So these are the constant basic principle issues if you can try and resolve. I think that makes our workforce that much more better, complemented by all the wonderful panelists who said in the earlier conversation about workplace strategy, the architects, the designers, how do they make it exciting for the people? Should do the trick.
So for the occupier, do you say that how best we attract the talent, how we make them more productive?
Sorry, say that again?
The workplace in terms of the outcome or the measurable things. Do you think for the occupier clients, do you think how much they attract the employees?
Workplace does play a role, but frankly, I think there are other hygiene factors which make the decision. I mean, your role, your ambition, your goal, how they all complement salary, whether it meets your expectation, whether there is growth, which meets your ambition or goal. And yes, when I come to work, I have a good 8 hours of experience. So workplace is a complement to the various hygiene factors. I don't think it can become one of the primary factors.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. We are 3 minutes 28. I don't know how many beers he has won.
Thank you so much. You nicely covered everything. Yes, workplace is evolving and definitely occupiers have an opportunity to kind of upgrade or design their offices to make it much more flexible, much more collaborative, and also the employees should really feel like they're here to kind of perform. And architects have a lot of work to do to keep the clients happy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We'll just quickly take a couple of questions in case anyone has any.
You lost your beer.
Anyone, any questions for the gentleman up there? All right, okay.
पांडे जी क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे तो डर लग रहा है. You are my client. You will not ask me tough questions.
So it's definitely interesting discussion between both of us. He's showing finger towards you. So, one important aspect that the impact of circular economy, so which is part of this year's budget, that to attract the more GCCs. So how that is in Indian concept, how that is impacting GCC setup, positive way, negative way?
See, at the moment, with your permission, I can stand up. At the moment, it's all slow down, sir, right? Nothing is going at the pace that one would like to, for various reasons. Political factors, economic conditions, and of course, firms are thinking twice before they come forward and invest in the country, right? When it comes to circular economies, we have done a lot of work in Europe, and I think we have mastered some of the actions on how we can use, reuse, and the various R's that come into play, right? The multiple 3 R's, 4 R's, or whatever that is. There are actions we can take, small ones, big ones, which will help us achieve our objective with lesser resources. And I think it works in many ways. If you're breaking an exit, one question was, do we refurbish our existing asset? Okay, let's refurbish it, but how much of it can be reused? It has an impact on cost, it has an impact on your promise to a better world, and it also creates an opportunity to see, can I help somebody else in the society to use it as well? Because when we did a project in India, in Pune, with CBRE, we were very particular, and it was a massive refurbishment, nearly someone close to 40 million euros is what we spent. It was not about the spend, it's about how much of it can we reuse, and how much of it we are unable to use for various reasons can be given to the society. That played a huge factor in a way. And I have used some of our assets that we had in Poland to support the families that rushed from Ukraine to the border of Poland. This we did. And they didn't have anything. Thank you so much. They had zero. They left everything, they came. So there are many opportunities, Hariprasad sir, and it's just for us to find where it ends. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you so much, Mr. Venkat. I'm going to quickly call on stage Mr. Indrajit Saoji, who is a group publishing director with ITP Media, to give us small token of appreciation from our end.
Did you time for the managing the time or for the book panel? Both.
We would have loved to hear more from that. I know Mr. Venkat is running away right now, but it would be really great if you could join us first for our networking session. We would love to catch up with you. Thank you so much, Mr. Gibson. Thank you so much, Mr. Venkat. Now, quickly before we go to the next session, we have an industry address by Blue Bubble, and presenting this particular industry address is Mr. Nalin Raghvani, who is the chairman and managing director. He has a quick, he wants to give a quick understanding of how the industry of their company is working towards designing for people. Since we started on that note, he's going to continue on that, and a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Nalin Raghvani.
Check. Can you hear me?
Okay, 1 minute. Hello. Yeah, thanks. All of us have heard a lot about next generation workspaces. Actually, how do we bring people back to office has been a dilemma post-COVID, and we just heard hybrid is a normal. In our space, what we do for a living is what typically gives us space, a soul. Why would people come to work? How energetic is it? How livable it is? And what do you do to bring those moments of camaraderie, compatibility, collaboration? I quickly take you through that. Obviously, culture, behavior, belongingness is all what the space creates. We've all seen these numbers, enough and more, 70 million created, GCCs coming in, there's a slowdown, but there is a history of all which is getting created, and all of us are involved in that. Two-tier cities emerging. What does today's workforce want? I mean, typically we know that Gen Z wants a different workplace. So there's a lot of research gone behind what the next generation workplace looks like. And some of them I'm going to cover in my presentation here. Typically 4 layers. People are the ones you need to understand before you do anything. What is it that people typically want from that space? What is the demography? Who are the people combining? What is the work culture? The whole idea about technology, it's only given that technology is a part of the overall system. We all talk about net zero, sustainability. The world is moving towards that ecosystem. It's a given factor there. And obviously the brand. The brand carries its ethos, the culture, the brand identity, all of that drives to the overall thing. So what do we do here? A quick 2 minutes, a minute a video which talks about what we bring to table here.
Spaces, we shape experiences where design meets intention and every detail tells a story. From walls to wayfinding, from floors to future thinking, we build spaces that work, feel, and inspire. With in-house design, project execution, and our own manufacturing, we offer end-to-end control, quality, and creativity. We don't outsource excellence, we own it at every step. We challenge briefs, we lead with insight, we stay rooted in 3 things: clarity, courage, and commitment. We don't decorate spaces, we design them to speak. Our strength lies in our people, curious minds, diverse talents, bold hearts, a diverse tribe bound by curiosity and collaboration. From corporate campuses, hospitals, educational institutions to boutique experiences, our work is seen, felt, and remembered. As the world reimagines the future of work, we're building what comes next: smarter, more sustainable, more human. Because for us, design isn't a destination, it's a catalyst for change. Blue Pebble, designing what's next, building what matters.
So how do we go about doing what we do? I mean, we are from a lot of corporate marketing background and spent about 25, 30 years doing that, and post that coming industry, we are 8 years old. We are the only listed company on NSE today. We are almost working on almost large multinational companies who are coming to India. Also working with large major industries who are global companies within India and abroad. So the understanding psychology, behavior, people, research is very, very critical whenever we are designing anything, and all of us are aware about it, what we do. But these are the few incidences which makes us slightly differentiated, and people are now talking to us in a very large way. I have got 2 or 3 examples in terms of how do we, so the people, when brands come in, either it could be how do spaces, if you see today, vis-a-vis 10 years back, it could be just a blank slate. Today the offices are very lively, very, very brilliant in terms of color. They bring that, and the whole aspect of getting people into the office. So there are broadly 3 or 4 case studies I'm going to touch upon. And so there are either, we've done an office for Nestle. Nestle, all of us know, completes about 100 years in India. They control Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and India from India operations. They redid their 6th floor building totally. And this is an idea about how brands talk to the audience. So everything in this office is about the Nestle brand. The entry, you talk about the history. There's a large collage of Henry Nestle, which is all packaging, which is what was designed by us. One floor is Nestle, one floor is Kit Kat, one floor is Maggi. So every brand which is being sold in India is being bespoke talked about. So when I'm in the company, I'm really attached because I'm working for that company. I feel very proud to be attached to that company, and I see my brand being positioned there. And they were very, very critical. Each brand manager was very critical in terms of how the caricature should look like. It should portray my brand very effectively, and that is the empathy we bring to table. The other is Visa, which is again a brand extension plus a thematic kind of a thing. So it is pay by Visa, tap with Visa, travel with Visa. And the other thing is it was in Karnataka, so it's something thematic along with that, with their values and ecosystem. I have a video, but I'll skip it because the time is less. Again, Moody's, a rating agency, which all of us know is the largest rating agency, global rating agency. They came to Karnataka. The only connection was the local connect, which we are bringing to table. So Karnataka is known for Hampi, known for Mysore Palace, known for the shabby puppetry or the Mysore silk saris. So this is what connects with the audience which are sitting there. So this is another layer of what you do to bring that color and equations into the life. So a quick video for that. The similar one is HDFC, all of us are aware. They have a 22-story building in Karnataka, in West Bengal. So everything here was about East. The entire Bengal culture was brought into place. There's a huge connect with the local audience there. And there's an empathy which people, when they come in, they are really attached to it. So again, a small video talking about that. Same with, again, we're talking about global and local. Another example of Bank of America, we've been attached with Bank of America. We've done facilities in Ahmedabad, Gurgaon, Bombay, Chennai, and one large facility is coming next door, 1 million square feet plus in Hyderabad itself. So all standards of global, but there's a huge local connect which we bring to table. Again, a quick video there. again a Bombay one, which talks about the whole Bombay essence and what is the Mumbai 3.0 coming in. So everything about Mumbai 3.0. One more interesting thing is how do brands bring in empathy by bringing their own product. So this is something which we did as a bare shell and brought the entire 3M. So if you see these triangles are brought in from, they call it a trifactor. So this was brought in from the brand book, which is you see on the ceiling, you see at the reception. And very interestingly, all of us have seen the traffic signals, the post-its, all of it actually designed in a very creative way was done in here. Just a minute, I'll take again on this side to show you this. Scotch guard, their grinding material, all of that, the adhesives were showcased. So the product has been very beautifully shown in a very creative manner, which connects with the audience very. This is the grinding material which we used, all brought in from 3M directly, and then showcased in a very interesting manner. All the lightings were also done in the brand format. So, obviously, we know that 34% of the next gen, another 2 to 3, 4 years, the next Gen Z organization or Gen Z, what do we bring to table on that side? Another interesting thing which we do is today's younger audience do not want to see static things. How do you bring in augmented reality? How do you bring in walls which actually talk to you? So something interesting that we've done, wherein a QR code is there, you scan the QR code. Yeah, just a minute. This is a QR code is there. You can scan the QR code, take your mobile phone and be at any seat. This actually works interestingly. There is a story of the wall, a visual as well as music is layered with that, and the wall starts talking to you. Mahalakshmi Racecourse. So currently the scanning QR code, in case one of you can scan also, this actually is live. This is the coastal road of Mumbai. You just scan it, this is actually deployed there. Scan it and this visual comes in. I'll skip this. So what are we talking about? Future workplaces, obviously minimalistic yet adaptive. Built for belonging, sustainable, and very, very global, but very, very hyper-local. This is our experience over the last 4 or 5 years that people do want a local connect. People are very proud to be Indians. They want to see their image in that. It's like brand personality. When you are owning a particular brand, you believe that your identity is owned with this. And that's how the spaces are there, and that's how people keep coming back to the spaces. Thank you so much. This is what I had. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
No, it's okay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Menon, for giving us that beautiful insight into what graphics and art can do across workspaces. Now, coming to the last session of the day, and honest to God, when I was even scheduling this, I purposely kept this session in the last because I know the individuals who are there on this panel, the person who is moderating it, and they are some of the most dynamic individuals I've met in this industry. Some of them, in fact, Prasad sir, Praveen sir, Arvind, all of us, they have seen us evolve as a platform. They have been with us in our journey, and I've kept them, like they say in the Oscars, the best is kept always in glass. It's a similar what I have done here, and I can't wait to call each of them here, and hearing them is always such a delight for me. And It's heavy topics, but it is about how to put it across in their own words, in their own style. And I'm glad you all are there here to witness this with me, along with me. So the topic of this particular session is bridging the gap between global standards and local realities, with so many MNCs coming in, the GCCs coming in with their own standard guidelines and books. These are individuals who are talk about how the bridging happens between how Indian climate is adapting to their principles. So moderating this panel is Mr. Arvind Ramaraju, who is the head for real estate and workplace services for India and for transformation in enterprise services at LPM. Joining him are speakers Amin Ansari, who is the director for architecture division and for the corporate real estate at DSP Design Associates. Along with him is Akshay Srinagesh, who is the founder for Archaeoteryx Architects. Along with them is Dr. Hariprasad Panda, who is the executive president at Capstone Services. With them is one of India's leading co-working space brand, and Manisha Bajaj, who is the senior director for design with BeWork India. She's joining us. We also have Mr. Nalan from Blue Pebble who will be joining us here again. And finally, the two other individuals on this panel are Mr. Praveen Upadhyay, who is the head of facilities and sustainability for Hyderabad at Virtusa Consulting, and finally, architect Yusuf Kamal, who is the principal at Kamal Associates. With this, I'm going to call each of my speakers on stage. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be genuinely a delight listening to them. Please, speakers.
Good evening. What a fantastic crowd today. So good to see a hall full on a Friday evening. So that's one pressure. And the kind of introduction Rashmi gave, altogether a different pressure. Having to speak after how Nylin spoke and the Alien panel and Venkat and Gibson, that's the third pressure. So absolutely a pleasure to perform environment for my co-panelists and me this evening. Let's see how we try to keep you engaged. In different topics, in different contexts, a lot of what we're going to touch upon this evening is something that's already spoken either earlier today, maybe there's one more conference in the city, or in earlier panels this evening. Bridging the gap between global standards and local realities. We were catching up a little while ago, a few of us. Manisha was missing, she was in the front row, she couldn't walk out, and Yusuf kind of dropped late, but the rest of us were catching up. And one comment that came across was that, do we really need to always look at a global standard for us to catch up? Or is it also okay that we also set the standards and the rest of the globe catches up? It's a point to ponder. Let's pause it at that. Some interesting themes. We want to talk about global standards versus local relevance. So how we can contextualize what is it that we're going to do in terms of designing, execution, taking it to operations, and what happens thereon. Designing for Indian context in terms of climate, usage, functionality. The workplace experience, Venkat brought about beautifully in his speech, talking about how there is a multi-generation. It seems he said it's 5 generations that are at work today. So how do we kind of design for them, look at it from a global context and making it relevant for India? Sustainability, beyond the certification, both in terms of operational sustainability. Someone said we build buildings for 10 years and the design doesn't last really that long, right? Things go out of relevance very fast. The element of local materials, local capability and innovation, and finally the future workspace. So these are some of the topics that we want to talk about this evening. And with your permission, let me please start. So it's easy. Let me start with Dr. Hara. Hara, why don't you quickly introduce, I know everybody in the hall knows you, but for the sake of formality, quick introduction. And Hara, if you had to identify one global practice that India should adopt more, and one practice that we can pause, right? Something that we're doing that we can pause. Your introduction and answer to the question, and I request the rest of the panel to do the same.
Hi, good evening. Arvind forgot another pressure that we are standing or sitting between the cocktail and you. Okay, but that's another pressure, but we'll ensure that we'll give you that much engagement and fun, so you will not miss that. Thanks, Arvind. Rashmi has given the introduction, and we all know each other. My name is Har Prasad. I am the executive president for Capstone, and in this FMCRE industry since last 30 years and 25 years in Hyderabad. So that's the introduction. So Arvind, why we should follow global practices? Global practices can follow, global can follow India. So one of the practice what I want to tell that in Arvind's facility, one of the site in this Reza Mindspace, it is the complete site is run by the female partners. So it's a completely pink site. So that's one of the site. I think the global team can follow India. So I'll request every one of you. Arvind is very kind enough. Just send a message or mail if you want to see that facility. It is beautiful design. The male and female ratio from the client side is almost 30-70, but all the service partners who are working, starting from the janitors, the electrician, the plumber, carpenter, the support staff, entire team is female employees. So that's one of the practice I want everyone should follow. And if you have to skip one of the practices, global practices, if you look at lot of time, so adaptability is one thing, which is a good thing, but copying is not good. So sometimes we get the instruction, my Boston office has this kind of facade, we should use it in Hyderabad. So whether Hyderabad climate will support that, whether my local partner will be able to clean that, that's one thing we should drop. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Hara. Brilliantly put. Yeah, so I extend the invite to all of you who want to visit our site. My city head is here, Guru. You want to just reach out, want to visit the site, which is fully run by women power. Welcome home. I know most of your homes are run by women power.
Arvind, congratulations to you that you are running this for last 2.5 years.
Yeah, almost 3 years.
Correct? Yeah. Guys, he deserves a round of applause. Don't you think? How many facilities you have seen that we are working out supporting particularly only female employees? I remember only that Westin Hotel is there.
Right.
And second, I'm hearing it from you.
Yep.
Thank you.
In fact, the inspiration is from Westin. So, probably now that you have the mic, quick introduction, and what do you think we should continue? What can we stop?
Hi, team, friend. Good evening. First of all, thank you, Rashmi, for inviting me. Accept my gratitude. My name is Praveen Upadhyay. I'm working as a facilities and sustainability leader with Virtusa. I've completed 13 plus years with Virtusa. Overall having experience of 38 plus years, 10 years in express industry, 3 years in travel and tourism, and 11 years in BPO. And I'm continuing with Virtusa IT company. I'm loving it because I'm part of a lot of social forums where I'm able to give back to the society. So I enjoy that. The question you asked, what is a good thing? I think from global standard, to me, like we should stop being a glorified slaves because sometimes people ask you have a, let's have a call at 10 o'clock in the night, and then we readily say, okay, yeah, we will do that. And if you call them, okay, boss, let's have I have experienced that. But one day I scheduled a call at 4 o'clock. The person mentioned, boss, at 4 o'clock I have to take my son for swimming classes. So that taking itself for swimming classes is more important than office. So that's like the family first. I think that culture we should have that.
Right.
That's what I want that.
Thank you, Praveen. Yusuf, you want to help? Quick introduction, and then what do you think one practice you could adapt and one practice you could stop?
Thank you, Arvind. Myself, Yusuf Kamal. I am doing workplaces, I think, since my first project, 31 years back. That was offices. We have been doing offices, buildings, as well as greenfield and office interiors. So in my practice, almost 80% of that has been workplace. Now coming to this question, I think there are certain things from the global standards which we could definitely learn from. As I see, when I started, we started with doing projects for government, local entities, and then slowly MNCs started coming in by the year 2000 or so. And then slowly we formed some standards, we started kind of following them. Then a time came where we matured enough where we could actually develop our own standards. So what we should look at when we are working with any MNC, the DNA of that particular company, it should reflect in your design. People should feel that wherever their employees are coming from, that yes, they belong to that particular workspace, so that DNA should shine through. And they have certain processes and metrics. So I think it is good to measure the success of any particular workspace even after we hand it over. There should be a survey, we should invest time and we should invest resources and money into that, whether it is working or not. So these kind of things we should learn from them, developing how the standards are developed, how we, first of all, we should learn how the program is developed, and then how it is localized for that particular site, and then when we hand it over, how it is measured. What we should definitely not follow is blindly, because the culture is different. As Venkat was saying in the previous discussion that हम लोग तो बात करेंगे, हम कौन रोकेगा? Right. So we can, we bring certain level of energy to office. It can be at times little noisy or boisterous also. And one thing which we have started doing is we have very large floor plate. Nowhere in Europe and America you will not find 1 lakh, 2 lakh square feet of floor plates. So we pride ourselves in having large floor plate. At the same time, we should cut it down to humanly possible scale. The 50 to 75 is a sweet spot. Yeah. So something like that. So that we should design as per our way of working. We should not follow them.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Kamal. Ma'am, Manisha, you want to take a stab at quick introduction? Good.
Hi, I'm Manisha. I'm the design head for WeWork India. As many of you already know, WeWork is a global brand, right? And I think one thing that we really should follow is, the meticulous detailing in terms of data insights and spatial analytics that most global standards follow, right? How is the, person interacting with the space? How can we maximize the utilization of the space? I think that's something that we really need to do, because that can, improve how we're using this, like making the most of the space that we have. What I think we shouldn't do is, again, to add to what Sir said, right? Copying. I feel like using the global standards is an important starting point, but localizing it to the understanding the human needs of who's going to use the space. What are the materials that are going to go into the space? Who's going to operate the space? Is it going to be long lasting? Those are very important elements.
Beautifully put. Thank you, Manish. I think the floor is developing beautifully. We are saying we should not copy. We are also trying to say that we should contextualize to who's going to use it, what are we going to build it with, etc. Let's just pick up 3 more opinions and then we'll get into the actual questions. Akshay, a quick introduction and what's the thing to do?
Hello, everyone. My name is Akshay Srinagesh, and I run the architectural boutique firm called Archaeopteryx. I set this up in New Delhi in 2002, and about 6 years back, I moved back to my birthplace, which was Secunderabad. And so we have an office now in Delhi, and we have an office in Hyderabad. And for the last now almost 25 years, we've been doing a very varied typology of buildings. We've been doing houses, we've been doing renovations, we've been doing hospitals, we've been doing fashion designers, their production units, their showrooms. So we've had the good fortune of being able to jump scale and and also look at different typologies. And I just want to ask the whole audience here, how many of you all have pets at home? Look at dogs and cats. So this is, a very small, minuscule population here so I used to rescue animals. I'm very ardently involved with animal rescue, and I've always had animals with me, and mostly dogs. But about 18 years back, I adopted cats, and that changed my life. So what I now do is I look at not just loving plants, not just loving dogs, but also looking at all sorts of life forms, from insects to birds to reptiles. So my architecture now looks at not just doing volumetric buildings, but also looking at, and not just looking at plants, but also looking at getting animals, birds, insects into buildings. So we are an architectural firm that looks at harmonizing in the truest sense of the word. So that's what we do. What is it that I would like to take from the West? I think in the late 1990s and early 2000s, there was a whole batch of architectural firms, especially in Germany, that went beyond just getting the outside inside, which is a very superficial way of connecting to nature. You have a facade, a glass surface, and you say, okay, I'm looking at a view. What they started doing, especially for firms like Bernish architecture, what they started doing was that they said that we want a building in the environment, in the surroundings, and you want to pay as much interest and as much attention to the surroundings. We want to keep it as natural as possible, and we want to rewild rather than just cut down and have ornamental plants and trees. So I think what I would like to see more is true sustainability, which is natural, which is not artificial, which is not just ornamental and not just decorative. So that's what I want to take from there. What I don't want is I would like to see less glass buildings. Our climate and our environment doesn't really warrant the use of glass. And more than just glass as a product that heats up buildings, and most of you all would already know all those all those details there. I think just the use of water to clean buildings, clean glass buildings, is just is just wasteful. So, and it is also against the ECBC code of India. So I would like to see more indigenous materials, more local materials, less glass, and also connect truly with the outside.
Thank you. Great aspiration, Akshay. I think we should all take cognizance of what is that we could do in terms of staying local. Ayman, would you want to take a start, please?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ayman Ansari, architect by profession and working in the capacity of Director for Architecture and Interior Design with DSP Design Associates. Been in the field for about 30 years now and worked with DSP for about 15 years. I've been abroad as well and worked on the consultancy and the client side both. So varied experiences and still gaining some more. Every day you learn something new.
Sure.
So coming back to your question, what I really admire about what is happening from the West is the digital transformation and the adaptation of technology, which makes their offices very resilient.
Correct.
So that should be adapted from our end very aggressively, I feel. If we don't do that, we'll be dinosaurs very soon, the local companies. and our offices will not be suitable for the generation next.
Right.
Because technology is changing, the way we work is changing, COVID has taught us something different, and with the way things are getting more and more digitized, so that is the way forward. That's one. And what I dislike is blindly copying their standards.
Right.
As required, we should modify standards to our needs. All the Indian companies are also trying to ape the different companies that are coming in from, say, US or the Europe. But we really don't need to follow them blindly. We need to adapt to what is required at our end and take it forward as the way.
Right, thank you. So I think one consistent theme is not necessarily copy, see what is that we're trying to do, whom is that we're trying to build, and what is that we're going to use. So thank you for that. Naren, you have introduced yourself in the presentation. Thank you. Brilliant one at that.
Thanks.
So I'll straight come to your question. How do you preserve a global brand's DNA while making its workplace authentic to a local city, local culture, local flavor, local users, right? So how do you do that?
You heard me just about 15-20 minutes back. I have about 30 years of experience. I have a 30 years of experience in managing brands across from national to international brands before I took and made this company. So understanding brand has been a core in terms of my own experience. So brands are very sacrosanct. If you see anything which is brand book or the brand identity, that is where it either is overtly done or it is subliminally there. So that actually has to be there. The core values, ecosystem, the ethos, the culture they bring in, that definitely is there across, because we work for a lot of companies. Like for an example, we work for BCG in India. We did their Delhi office here, and we are working for BCG in Lisbon. So clearly there is the core values of BCG as a consulting firm. They are operating almost about 100 odd countries. That DNA is there. But in terms of the local relevance, their Delhi office is very different from what is Lisbon office. So that is what we see here also coming in. So that in my purview, that there has to be a local connect. And unless you give that local connect, the people don't feel a belongingness is not there. It shouldn't be alienated, in my opinion. And the important thing is that the research, which is very critical of what is the demography, who are you addressing to, what is the people going to use in, what are they are going to do with this? Is it a call center? Is it a senior management? Is it what kind of? So everything has to be done in terms of what is required. That's what I would like to say in terms of how we can take it forward.
Thank you, Nalin. Nicely put. Manisha, you mentioned about using the right data and analytics in trying to understand what is it that the design should kind of finally speak, and what language should it convey. Having observed how the WeWork and that industry in general has evolved, and talk about using flexible workspaces, what design principles do you believe large enterprises should actually adopt to? And also, what do you think are some of the principles that are getting more attention that they deserve in the current context, and what we're looking in the future? Would you want to talk about those two, please?
So I would say I wouldn't just, cater to the large enterprises. I think with WeWork, we've got a lot of data and insights as to how people are using our spaces. What should be the ratio between a shared space versus a private space? What should the gender diversity be? And, I would say small and large enterprises both, like, startups as well, all their needs are same. They want a space where people can come together for collaboration, for innovation, something that feels like home or better than home, right? So I think that's one of the core principles, and flexibility becomes very important, Because what are we designing for them, right? What are the centers of gravity? What are the, spaces that they actually want where they can come together and create that culture and community that they need?
Right. In our office, we call them workplace magnets, right? What are the magnets and where do we want to position them so that the users automatically get attracted? They see that there is value in getting there. It could be as simple as a pantry, it could be as simple as a collaborative space, it could be as simple as a swing, right? Like Preeti was saying, the slide-in office is actually not a slide-in office. It's a demonstration of what is it that you could do, and you could be you in office, and that's what we're trying to provide. So thanks for that example. Actually, when these kind of initiatives are being talked about, and how do you, of course, we have to contextualize. At the same time, the contextualization should not be so deep that we lose the actual relevance or the original intent. How do you play that balance? As a designer, as an architect, how do you play that balance? How do you know where to draw a line? Because that crossing which it's beyond, right?
Yeah, that's actually quite an interesting question. And so architecture is supposed to be a very democratic profession, but it's also a very authoritative one.
Right.
So we border on the authoritative ones in the beginning. So we question the design intent. Now, it's very easy for me to say that, but there's a lot of pressures, lots of factors that go into such decisions. So, but what we do is we start to debate it, and to us, there's a difference between building engineering solutions and architecture. There's a difference. So, if the intent is to get a product across that works very well, and get that into a building, where you snap a product in, like maybe glazing, like other maybe cladding systems. We find that in our context, in a very Indian context, to be slightly regressive. So we have to find a middle ground there, because when you put in a system of glazing in, you're looking at an engineer coming in and putting in and snapping into place. It's a fit it, forget it, shut it, fit it, shut it, forget it.
Sure.
Which was like, I think, a Hero Honda or a Kawasaki Bajaj, ad, yeah. So Suzuki, sorry. So what happens there is that the Karigar is sidelined. Craftsmanship is sidelined, more or less. And if he has to build a wall in brick or in stone, there his expertise over the year, generations of knowledge come into play. So we question the design intent, and in a local and an Indian context, I find that design intent has to span lots of factors and lots of elements. So that is one. So we question that intent, and then we try to get in elements that are vernacular. We look at materials that are long lasting and also slow, rather than speed, like where you try to get in people at the fastest speed into a building. We try to slow things down a little bit.
Right.
And that allows architecture to actually take place.
How does it pan out with clients who want the product yesterday and probably less expensive than their last building?
That's why it's a tough thing to do.
Right.
You have to juggle, you have to find a middle ground. And I think at some point, because we are a very boutique architectural firm, we build less, we do less, so you can't say no.
Okay.
So we have learned to say no over the years, and it's a 25-year firm. But this it's a double-edged sword. So you have to decide. Yeah.
Right. So let's ask, right? You do a lot of global projects, and as a boutique practitioner, actually has an ability to kind of say that this is how I work, and if you like it, good. If you don't like it, well, very good, right? But you might not have that liberty because the organizations engage, and you might have a client mandate, etc. And when it takes back to the global scale, can you paint the picture? How do you get about working on this?
Yeah, it's a very tricky one. So as you said, the way we have mandates, and suppose if I'm doing 1 million square feet for you, and you come up and you say that you want something yesterday for a small 5,000 square feet office, I cannot say no. Like
right.
At my level, we cannot do that.
Sure.
So we don't have the liberty.
So how do you bring that local adaptability, right? So Akshay was referring, there is a point when you have to think that, okay, thus far, fine. Beyond this, it has to be local, or kind of take it up and say that the retention or securing of the sacrosanct language.
So basically,
Nalin was
your
about it.
brand identity cannot be compromised.
Okay.
So the moment you enter into an office, you should realize that this is X office in India would look the same in US or in Bangkok or Canada or anywhere. It looks the same. So the brand identity cannot be compromised. But yes, the guidelines can be tweaked to a certain extent so that it is adaptable to the size of project and what is the end use, who's going to be using that particular workplace. Those things can be changed.
So interesting choice of word. You said guideline, right? So
yes,
guiding is guidance what we want to look at it. It's not a mandate, and you want to kind
yes. So a few things are mandated, like the logos you cannot change, the fonts you cannot change. But need not you copy the same furniture that they are using in US or UK?
Great example, right?
Yeah.
It need not be contextual to Indian usage.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you can say that the desired outcome is that user should not feel tired, it should be ergonomic, and it should be of these materials, but need not be the exact name, model number, etc. So
you need not be, unless there is a mandate that you have to use this particular brand of furniture or carpet or something, which comes as a mandate. But
right,
majority of the times, it's just the guidelines.
Right. Praveen, organizations have huge, coming from you, right, in terms of aspirational sustainability goals and ESG targets, etc. As a practitioner and an evangelist of sustainability, where are we going? Is in this particular journey, having a global standard, making it a local reality, and the kind of challenges architects are facing, but practitioners are facing. How do you think the element of sustainability is blending in both these ends, and what is the middle path here?
Good question. Sustainability. See, the simple definition of sustainability, I always reiterate like ability to sustain. How long you can use the things, that's basically you are preventing the landfill. India is not lacking on its sustainability ambition.
Right.
But when it comes to the implementation, then we have a lot of challenges. There are a lot of realities, ground realities where we need to check. The main gap is moving from sustainability as a compliance and reporting exercise to operational business strategy. That is where a lot of global companies, we see that they have net zero goal and your ESG driven economy. Lot of things are there. They are developed countries, they can do that. But in India, we are developing. So we need to implement many things. But the real challenge, it is coming on ground when we find that a lot of pressures are there, let's say cost pressure, infrastructure limitations, varying regulations, maturity,
time
is another one. So many things are there. So by that we are not able to make it as of now. But yes, we are doing, and it is there in our to-do list that we need to do. We need to fill the gaps, which I feel that few gaps are there. Let's say, for example, long-term vision versus short-term business strategies. Priorities are there. So there we have, because sustainability requires immediate investment, but
the fruits are later.
Right. So that becomes a challenge for the companies. So it doesn't go to the first level of category like immediately you get.
Right. I'd not like to
so many things are there, but yeah, possibly of that level.
Sure. Exactly. I was trying to drive this point. We quickly go to Kamal. Looking back at your professional journey, Kamal, how has the definition of a successful workplace evolved? Right. So Venkat was referring to didn't have to come to office, sit at a desk, computer was also, internet was not there, to where we are today. Internet is in your pocket and you're doing beautiful things with that, sometimes not so beautiful. What fundamental shift do you believe organizations still underestimate when they design for offices? Two questions. What is an ideal workplace that has evolved, and what shift has happened, and what do you foresee is coming to happen?
I think in last 3 decades, I have seen the workplace methodology and workplace going through a very huge change. Earlier, it was like big me and my cubes, closed offices. Then came an era of open plan. We started working with MNCs and they said you have to work in open plan, and we bought that concept, hook, line and sinker. And also something started which was what we used to call magazine architecture. हम लोग अपने ज़माने में ये इंटरेस्ट वगैरह नहीं था, मैगजीन्स लेके आते थे ब्रिटिश लाइब्रेरी जाके या जापानीज मैगजीन्स एंड ऑल दैट, उसमें से कट करके वहां से कॉन्सेप्ट बना दिया, दैट इज कॉल्ड मैगजीन आर्किटेक्चर. So that magazine architecture caught the fancy here, and we saw the glass boxes coming up.
Right.
And as Akshay has very rightly said that we should minimize the glass, but at the same time we need to look back. What we were doing before all these MNCs came, we were doing all our office complexes with nice courtyards, Charles Korea and all that.
Tata, for example.
So they were having sunken and smaller windows on the outer side, but inside was totally transparent, and it was opening into a shaded courtyard which was allowing sunlight at certain part of the year, which was winter. So we need to go back to those roots. जो वास्तु वगैरह में जो हमारे principles हैं, if we leave aside the idiosyncrasies, it is a pure science. Sure. So we need to look at that thing, and then we have a lot of things to offer to West also. At the same time, just concepts. When we grew a little bit confident, we said, अब हम बनाएंगे manuals. So we made manual for the entire Asia Pac for a global giant. And then client ने हमको बोल दिया था कि भाई इंडिया में कंपनीज आती हैं तो पैसे बचाने के लिए आती हैं, तो वहाँ पे अगर 2100 और 1800 के वर्क स्टेशन चल रहे हैं तो भैया वो यहाँ नहीं करेंगे, आप इसको छोटा करो. तो हमने उसको छोटा किया. वो हमारे पास स्टैंडर्ड्स लेके आ गए which they did something in Philippines. मैंने कहा this is something on the other side. Without sounding racist, I want to say कि एक जर्मन बंदे में, एक इंडियन बंदे में और एक फिलीपींस में काइंड ऑफ साइज का डिफरेंस होता है. Then we arrived at a concept that फिलीपींस में जाएंगे तो we will give a 1200 desk. When we come to India, we will give it 1400 to 1500, and when it goes to West, उनको हम डिक्टेट नहीं कर सकते, वो अपना कॉन्सेप्ट करेंगे. हमारा दम सिर्फ एशिया पैक पे चलता है, बट yeah, they were doing 1500, 2100 kind of workstation. So this is something. And one thing which has started, when we started initially, the architect and the interior designer was same.
Right.
So, as I say, when you are doing only fit out, you are controlling only half the story.
Right.
There is already a play going on, and you are coming and playing your part. But when you design the greenfield, when you design the building, and then you do the interiors, you are writing your own script and own story, and you have the handle on the sequels also.
Correct.
कि ये building second life में क्या करेगी, आगे कैसे change होगी. So this is something I think there is a disconnect between the base building architect and the interior architect. The base building architect वो पूरा बना के चले जाते हैं, फिर हम लोग interior वाले आते हैं, then we realize कि यार shit, इसमें यहाँ से हम सारा AC एक कोने में, वहाँ से बड़ी-बड़ी डक्ट लेके दूसरे कोने तक आएंगे. या so all those kind of things. So I think when the buildings are being designed, they should invite people who are doing fit outs. They should know their pain points. Or otherwise, as a shameless plug, I would say, कि सारा ही हमको दे दो यार. So that way, we, and even before we were architect, I remember I went to some place after getting married. One very old lady came. उन्होंने पूछा क्या करते हो? I told I am an architect. बोले आर्किटेक्ट क्या? मैंने बोला बिल्डिंग बनाते हैं. तो उन्होंने बड़े प्यार से सर पे हाथ फेरा. अच्छा बेटा कारीगर हो. So that time that कारीगर was, she didn't say disparagingly. She was respecting the कारीगर. So they used to do the entire thing from start to finish. So when we are having something where both the building as well as interior talk to each other, and then we respect the local climate, the behavior of people, और जिस तरह से हम लोग behave करते हैं, हम लोग we can be boisterous at times. Sure. So we need to divide our buildings into small pockets. We need to make it modular. We need to make it in a manner that the modules can be redone independently of what is happening in rest of the office. The services and everything has to be modularized.
Right.
So this is something.
Thank you. Brilliantly good, Kamal. Dr. Hara, a great design, big intent. We have brought global standards. We have brought local relevance, and the building is built. It all boils down to the place where the rubber hits the ground, and in comes the facilities management team. What do you think? Where do you think an FM team should join and be a part of this story? Like he was mentioning just now, architects should be involved, or the interior team should get involved right at the design stage. We'll be able to give a better output. Where do you think an FM team should get involved?
A little tricky question because 3 or 4 architects are here, so little scared, but okay, I'll tell that. So, see, as we say that the buildings are designed for 2 years, but all of us use that building for 25 years.
Right.
Correct? So, and if you look at building life cycle cost, 70 to 80% of the life cycle cost is spent after the handover of the building. But जब discussion होता है, we talk only about capex.
Right.
We don't talk about opex. And second thing is the people who are involved in the decision making, 90% of them don't use the building.
Right.
Whether the architect, whether the designer, they don't use the building.
So we don't use the building. They are busy building another building.
Another building. So they don't use the building. So the people who will be using the building, they are not available. So if you look at some contest, like there are around, by 2030, we are expecting around 5,000 plus GCCs in India. 5.5 to 6.5 million jobs are going to be created. But there are few real challenges. So one is we are looking at the beautifying the building. So always beautifying is, we have to look at that facility manager who is crying after the beautification to maintain it.
Right.
Second, from the previous panel, we were discussing about the collaborative space. So collaborative space has to be designed as per the requirement, not like my New York office has or my Philippines office has this space, you should have that kind of space. We see a lot of this kind of buildings, the meeting rooms are empty, but the phone booths are always busy. So those kind of collaborative space, we have to see that as per our requirement it should have. Sustainability, Praveen bhai already spoken, sustainability should be Indianized. It should not be globalized. So what is my local partner can manage. Otherwise, we should have a sustainability on paper only.
Right.
Last, but the most important thing is employee experience. Today, 10 years back, employees were comparing. Hey, look at Dell building is very good. Look at LTM building, it is better. Like that. But today, they are comparing the workplace with Uber. They are comparing the workplace with Zomato, Amazon. That the experience.
Right.
So now the workplace is like a service delivery.
Absolutely.
Workplace is not workplace, it's service delivery. So we have to look at that employee experience. For getting that employee experience, the person who is responsible to manage that building for next 20 years, he or she should be called to the table before designing. So that's what is my take.
Thank you, Dr. Hara. I know it's a shame that we couldn't take one more questions. can I take 7 minutes from you and ask all of them to say, what is one capability or mindset that organization should invest in today to remain relevant tomorrow, right? 1 minute each of you, one capability that you think that organization should imbibe so that we remain relevant tomorrow. 1 minute. What's your 1 minute answer for this?
I think the adaptability of the workspace, I was talking about modularity. You need to design a space with some certain kind of a modularity that there is a X, 2X, 3X. So a small workstation, 4 workstation becomes a cabin, 4 cabins become a meeting room. So like that, there has to be a grid.
Adaptability and flexibility is what you want.
And then you should be able to service or remodel any part without affecting what is running in the another part.
Adaptability again. Hara?
I'll talk about technology integration because today most of the smart buildings, when we talk about smart building, all the service partner, be it BMS integration, be it parking management, everything has a different software, different application. So in the smart building, when we are managing 20 passwords. So I should look at something like technology integration wherein I should manage my building with one password.
Tech integration, adaptability, tech integration. Nalin?
I would say human experience is very, very critical.
Right.
We are already seeing AI coming in, and I have been in some debates where people are talking today, would we need 3 monitors per individual?
Sure.
Yeah, because one is ChatGPT, one is something else, and one is something else. So there is so much of dynamism and evolution that we have to continuously see what the consumer actually is wanting, who's actually sitting there, and what is the organization overall look and feel.
Human experience.
Yeah,
Anisha?
experience.
I mean, that was one of my ones as well. I think member experience, right?
Yeah.
We can do everything, but how is the person feeling at the end of the day? Member and employee experience
That's
is
one
very
thing.
important.
Yeah, sure. This one. Akshay?
2 things. First is volume. We design in square feet. We should design in cubic meters. That's one, so that we look at light, ventilation.
Okay.
And second is, 2 degrees, the benchmark, we've already surpassed it, which means that we are doing something horribly wrong.
Right.
Whatever this whole, the human cry of sustainability, we're doing something horribly wrong. We have to sustain not just plant life and human life, but also all other life forms.
Great insight. I mean,
I would reinstate flexibility.
Right.
And technology integration.
Okay.
And what Sir wants a single platform for all technology needs.
Right.
We at DSP, we are already providing that. I will get in touch with him later.
Right.
So that's under the name of GridSense.
Right.
So all your technology, only one single sensor, you get everything on your dashboard.
Right. Thank you, Aman. Praveen?
I would say when by designing the office, we should consider sustainability aspect number 1 priority so that we know that what we are doing. It is not from environmental aspect, but from societal responsibility also. Because see, company can do, but the real change is going to come when the normal public is going to participate in this and do at their bit, at their level. Not in office, but outside also.
Thank you, Praveen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Apologies, we extended. Rashmi, over to you.
Thank you so much, Arvind. I don't even have to say anything about this panel. The fact that we have in Houseful even at 9:30 right now, no one moved out, and trust me, I'm gonna be open. We had similar this in Delhi about a month back, and at this time half of the hall was empty. Everyone had moved out to the bars and this, but it's commendable that that's actually true. But genuinely, the way you moderated and curated the session. Okay, आप और yourself. अभी energy नहीं रहा. 9:30 खाना नहीं दिया अब तक. It's like that. But a quick, BC girl can please come forward for a token of appreciation from our end. And I would love to call on stage Mr. Satish Sharma from Featherlight and Mr. I.V. Ramakrishnan from Squarefoot to give a small token of appreciation to each one of you. We are not taking questions right now in the time already, but please, if you can just come forward for a quick photo. Really nice having each of you present here today, and genuinely that moderation was something. We ran through it quickly but so brilliantly. Thank you so much. Thank you. I hope you're there around. Please do not go. So quickly before we end this night, I'm going to ask Satish to stay back for that lucky draw that he promised us. Before we conclude this, just one other reminder about the Smart Office Awards. Do send in your nominations. We've sent out a mail to each of you present here today. You just need to click the link and you can participate. It's free. There's no participation fee or any of that. So please, thank you. So quickly, one last round of applause to everyone before I hand over the mic to Mr. Satish for the lucky draw event.
Okay, so I think it's the time for our lucky draw. May I request Vishal? Vishal is here? Yeah, Vishal. Shubhmoy, can you help us with the bowl, please? So, last chance for those members who haven't put the visiting card. You can put your visiting card in the bowl. You can become the lucky winner for a Featherlight ergonomic chair. Yeah, so last chance. So if you haven't put the visiting card, please take it out. If you do not have, you can take my visiting card, put your name, and then put it in the bowl. So for the members, just for information, Vishal manages the entire Hyderabad operations. He has been associated with Featherlight from last almost as a company from more than 30 years, Vishal?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, few words, Vishal?
Yeah. So our family has been associated with Featherlight last 36 years. So probably before I was born also. So it's a great association. And yeah, one last call for anyone who wants to put in their cards.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So Hope you haven't put 2-3 cards, huh? Only one card from each. So there is a scanner which we can filter it out. So we will have that list soon announced. Only one. Yeah, but name is different. Yeah, please. Okay, I think wonderful response. Never in these kind of events the bowl is so much full. So yeah, please. Okay, so what we will do is we will request Vishal to take out the lucky draw. There are simple rules for this lucky draw. The person, whosoever gets selected, needs to be here. So that is the prime condition. If the person isn't in the hall, then we go for the second pick. Yeah, so Vishal, you can turn around, you can shuffle it, and without seeing the cards, do not look at the, shuffle it. Okay, all good. It's Divya Radhipati Nag Interiors Private Limited. Divya here. Divya, are you here from Nag Interiors Private Limited? Okay, looks like Divya is not here, so we have one more chance. Oh, Divya is there outside, so she is here. So Divya has been quite active, as she could hear her name. You're sure, Divya? Okay, congratulations. We can have a group photo. We shall come that side. So just wanted to check with Divya, how many hours you work in a day?
8 hours.